Hello, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We meet again on this balcony of Madeira Airport here, LPMA, overlooking a beautiful 727-200 this time. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no crash to desktop on our way down to the Canary Islands down there in Tenerife. Guys, what is going on? Welcome to the channel. Busy day. I was trying to catch the end of Flight Deck to Sim stream there, man. He totally buttered that 757 landing. That was awesome. But guys, we are going to be complete old school today. 727, no SIVA, no FMC, straight up VOR navigation with an NDB DME approach, which a true NDB DME approach, probably I don't think I've flown one since maybe my initial training, or that's not true. I flew them. I think I flew a couple doing my freight days. But it's I had to really kind of rack my brain and remember, drag the needle, lag the needle, something like that. I can't remember the phrase. But anyway, what's going on, guys? Good to have everybody here. Dean Michael's in the house. How's it going? I am Dimitri. What's up, man? Good to see you here. Dougal pulling a double duty as always, modding everybody. I love it, you guys, my mods. Hats off to you guys pulling all the double and triple duty all the time. A lot of streamers. Everybody's at home, quarantined, trying to get some normalcy here with X-Plane. But yes, we're going to be in the 727 first, and then after that, I've got a special treat for you, A321 1.03 beta version. I don't believe it's been released yet from Toliss. It's not a public beta, it's still a private beta, and I've got some exciting little information with that 321 that I'm excited to show you guys here. So we're going to do that 321 back into Madeira, and that will be our last landing here, I promise. I really fell in love with this island. And it was one of you guys that commented in the chat about, where are we going? La Palma, GCLA. And it's a very similar approach to this one here at Madeira, but it's a shorter runway. And the runway is sloped like a toilet bowl. It is going to be a one fun time. So let's jump into the cockpit. Tony Docs, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. Hop into the cockpit. Here we go. Let's get this thing rolling. We're in a 727-200, cold and dark, Fly J Sim. Although I have emergency light. Were you on? Well, I'll be damned. Look at that. The emergency light was on. Wow. Loving the Fly J Sim stuff, guys. You know the 727 is my favorite airplane out there, and the one that they modeled in the sim is just fantastic. I get so much joy flying it. I don't fly it too much on stream. I try to keep us with the Airbus when I can, but I do love flying this bird around. So we got the battery on. Let's go ahead and get the APU fired up right away. That one, dude, what's up, V1? Hello from San Diego. Awesome, man. I love that airport. Love that overnight. Haven't been to San Diego in a long time. Good to have you on board, man. Welcome. Dougal says, single duty now, boss. Dougal, excellent, man. Glad to have you on board, Dougal. Peely UK, good evening. Good to see you here. Nicholas says, love your video, sir. Just took my first flight in a 172 today, going for an airline career. Nicholas, awesome, dude. Fantastic. Welcome to aviation, man. It's addicting, dude. It is addicting. You get in that 172. That's where it all starts for a lot of us, man. I believe mine was a 152, but same difference, just a little bit smaller. But yeah, you get bit by the aviation bug, man, and it's a hard one to kick. That is for sure. I am honestly, guys, I'm starting to go a little stir crazy. Not being able to fly. I saw the Blue Angels. They flew over the Dallas today here in Texas, and I got to see them ripping through the sky. I want to get in an airplane, a real airplane, and fly. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen for some time still. There we go. We'll go ahead and close that breaker, trip that on line. We are on APU and APU here. We can go ahead and turn on some packs, get the APU bleed open so we got some pressurization. I do know that the cooling doors must be open on the ground, so let's go ahead and close the cooling doors here in the 727. Doing the work of 3 people while drinking and streaming. Gotta love it. This is by no means a tutorial. I just follow the Fly J Sim checklist. I think it's pretty good. It definitely is more than enough to get you guys on the road and get you rolling. We're only going to be going up to flight level 250. Scratch that 240. And landing altitude is 100 feet. That looks good. We're in ground mode. Look at this fluorescent light. Flicker that on there. Gotta love it. Auto on the temperatures. That looks good. Let's come over here. Arm the emergency lights. We have an overhead panel. Let's go ahead and turn the overhead panel lights on. Since it's a little bit dark in here, we got the cloud cover. Check some of my bulbs here, just to make sure these overheat bulbs are good there. We'll go test the flight recorder, stall warning horn. We are in enslaved mode there on the gyro. Anti-skid looks good. Beautiful. Alright, I think we're good to go up there. Beacon is off, navigation light is on. We'll turn the logo light on. Chicks Dig logo lights. Thank you for the subscribe there, Ramon. Thank you, man. Alright, so unlike getting the full-blown MCDU loaded up, it's a pretty simple pre-flight for the aircraft. So we're going to be doing the same departure that we did in the 737-200, the Ortis departure. So we got to make sure our radios are set up. The 112.2, I do have it set up there. 112.2, that's our Funchal. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Funchal, FUNVOR. And we're going to intercept the 180 radial outbound. So we want to spin our course to 180. Now I think the winds, the last I checked, was 030. Pretty tame winds so far right now, which is good. So let's take a look. 030 at 6. Yeah, so we're going to blast off northbound. So if we blast off northbound out of here, it's going to be an immediate right turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin my heading bug. I'm going to spin my heading bug around to 150. So the reason I'm doing this, and we'll look at this again on departure, I know I'm going to take off and make a right turn, right? So actually runway heading is going to be is over here, is 05. But on departure, I want to immediately turn and set up a 45-degree intercept. Here's the course line that I'm going to want to intercept. You put this heading bug right in the middle, boom, 45-degree angle intercept. I know exactly where to turn to. We can start tracking outbound on the 180. Speed knob is set 250 knots there. We should check out the altimeter setting, 30-06. Let's throw that in here. That's always my favorite altimeter setting, 30-06. Man, some of you hunters or gun gurus probably understand where that's coming from. 30-06 set 1, 2, and 3 times across the board. Excellent. We don't need to have the weather radar on the gate to save our ground crew down there, Gerald McGinley and others, Captain Geo, the fuelers. We've got to make sure everybody's nice and safe. We're going to go all the way up to flight level 240, mode select to get hundreds there. We'll go ahead and put that back on that side. That looks good. This is set for 240. I think we're looking good right now. Jeremy Harvey, what's up, man? He says, nothing better than finishing my schoolwork for my master's degree and rewarding myself with your stream. Been tempted to skip class. Well, glad you've only been tempted and you haven't skipped class, man. Got to stay in school. Good to have you on board. Glad you got everything done, man. Thanks again for joining the stream. Hey, Santi, welcome aboard. Hopefully no pesky crashes this time in the 7.2 Tesla. Yeah, I agree with you, man. So for this leg, we're not going to be running Active Sky. I'm going to turn Active Sky on for the return. I think there might be something, and I don't know, it's just me speculating. It might be something to do with Active Sky and the FlyJ Sim aircraft. So I'm not 100% sure, but we're not going to use Active Sky. We're just going to rock default weather on the way down there. Noah Featherson coming in with a $20 bomb. Noah, thank you so much, man, for your support on the channel. He says, I flew into Austin on an A319 and they had the speed brakes up on 3 Mile Final. Uh-oh. I know in the 737 you can't have speed brakes out past flaps 10. Is that normal on the bus? Yes, absolutely, especially if you're high and fast and hot rodding in there on a 319 using speed brakes on such a short final. I wouldn't say it's normal, but they got behind the 8 ball there. So in the 319, yeah, you can have those speed brakes out. 321, it's going to yell at you. It's going to retract them. Now, unlike some of the, well, I think even the 737 does this now, but if you have the speed brakes extended and you have a certain thrust lever angle, like such as say above 50% or 70%, it will automatically retract. And that came from a 757 crash for American Airlines. They had the speed brakes out. They got disoriented where they were, so they went full Toga. They got a jip whiz, and they almost cleared. The 75 is so powerful. These guys almost cleared the terrain with the speed brakes fully extended, but they hit the top of the mountain. Had they had the speed brakes retracted, they would have survived. So after that incident, Boeing, Airbus, everybody, they kind of came out with automatic speed brake retraction if you have a certain thrust lever angle, or it depends on the aircraft. Thrust lever angle, thrust N1, or anything like that. So the 319 will allow you to put those speed brakes out there, but the 321 will not, I think, past flaps 3. But awesome, man. Glad to have you on board. Thanks again for your donation and support of the channel. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. Let's run some checklists here. Let's set up the airplane. Let's finish loading. Do our maintenance report here. You could see this aircraft 17. This airframe has first airframe. Look at this. Look how nice I've been to this airplane. Opposed to that 737. Huh? That 737 had like 20-something engines on there. Rand Cool coming in with a $25 bomb. Dude, thank you so much. Rand Cool. He says, bourbon resupply. Rand Cool, I got you right here, buddy. Thank you, dude. You changed something on a vote the other day, and I apologize for it. And I trust your judgment, which is why I subscribe, and I'm a commercial member. No one else does what you do, so drive on, my friend. Rand Cool, thank you, dude, so much for your support. Yes, I did change the vote. I had we were going to do a Neo stream, but it was late at night when Toliss reached out to me, and they sent me the betas, and I said, ooh, I really want to check this. I was super interested in that 319 version 1.4, so I really wanted to get that stream out. We might do a Neo leaving La Palma here, or I'm sorry, not La Palma, Madeira, when we head back into the mainland, or not the mainland, just back towards the Central Europe area. So, Rand Cool, thank you, man, for your continued support on the channel. Got to keep that bourbon resupplied, especially on a flight like this, man. All right, where was I at? We were going to do aircraft configuration and loading here. SimBrief is saying we only need about 24,000 pounds, only 22,000. Total fuel 24.9. That looks perfect. I might leave it just like that. We've got a load of passengers and a random load of cargo. Perfect. We've got a lot of extra gas in case we have to go around. Guys, this approach down there in La Palma, I don't remember the name who said it in the comments from the last stream, but I checked it out. It's Madeira, but harder. It's literally almost harder than Madeira because it's a shorter runway, and I have slope terrain on. It's crazy nuts over there. So you'll see it. Batteries on, APU ground power is on, stall warning's been checked, emergency lights are on, passenger signs. Passenger signs, where art thou? There you are. Passenger signs are on. Window heat, we can go ahead and turn those on. That's the probe heater. Window heat, here we go. Radio radar transponder set. So we're going to be, we'll just go ahead and go on altitude 2000 on the transponder. Radio has been set. Parking brake is set. APU is already started. Beacon, galley power off, packs off. All right, so we're going to get ready to start the aircraft. So let's get our fuel pumps on. And we'll do hydraulic system A can come online. Check our interconnect there. We'll leave hydraulic system B off for pushback, but A is on. And let's see, 240 galley power can come off for engine start. Open up these bleed valves. We'll turn off the packs. Here comes our start pressure. We're pretty much ready to start. We'll close up that air stair, left shift F1. Aft air stair is not secure. Wait for the light out. Light is out. And let's turn the beacon light on. I think we are ready to start engine, guys. We are ready to go. All right. Let's turn them. So we're going to get our engine start switches up. We're going to go 3, 2, 1. And we are going to do a power back. Wait for 20% N2 here. Verify our start light. There it is. Start valve is open. Here comes 20%. Light it off, baby. I hope you have Spain UHD for La Palma. Absolutely. James, too. I do, man. La Palma, I mean, I don't know. I had no idea. I mean, I knew these islands existed, but I never even looked at the approaches and the airports around here. And it's funny because I think I actually watched a video thinking I was watching Madeira approaches, but I was actually watching La Palma. It's wait till you see it, guys. It's nuts down there. All right, we'll go ahead and crank engine 2, close the guard on that one. Here we go, N2 is on the rise, waiting for 20%. Verify our start light, and pressure is dropping. I'm not going to continue verifying that. You guys get seasick with the views here, so I'll just try to keep it over here on the engine. There's 20% lighted off. There's our exhaust temperature. Fuel flow should start moving here in a minute. There comes the N1. CNT proper retro. Yep. Paul Shoesmiths, can we do a power back? Of course we can do a power back, man. That's what we're doing. Absolutely. There's the fuel flow creeping up there. Exhaust temperature, or EGT, ITT rollback. I guess it's not even, it's called EXH in this airplane. All right, so we got 2 good starts. Let's go ahead and fire off number 1. Here she comes. There goes 20%. Little German wings over there. He said, "What's up? Welcome to the stream, man." Did I hear a light off? I don't know if I ever heard a light off. I did. It's pretty scary. You actually have to monitor these starts because I've had start faults before. Noah Featherson, what is up, man? Welcome to the channel, dude. Positive rates in chat for my new member out there. Noah Featherson, welcome, dude. Exclamation point, welcome for more information on your perks. I did just release the podcast for last month. Hope you guys are enjoying that. Demetria says the baby is not happy today. No, it does not sound like it, man. I think she's got another tooth coming in. I also do have, speaking of emojis, I added 2 new ones, which... What? I do not see them. They must take time to upload. Man, that's unfortunate. I have a tissue paper, and I also have a frozen butter emoji. Maybe they'll be resynced for the next stream. But all right, we got 3 good starts over there. We're still sitting on the GPU. Let's go ahead and start closing some of these breakers. 1, 2, and 3. That looks good. We'll keep that on Gen 1. Amps and volts look good. Galley power can come back online. We can open up the packs. Oh, man, I should know this. One of these stays closed. I believe it's 2. I believe Division 2 stays closed, right? I'll have to look in the checklist. And up to 240, that looks good. Hydraulics can come online. And let's shut down the APU.
Subscriber ahead. Look.
George Seed, thank you for the subscribe, man. Welcome to the channel, dude. There we go. We are synchronized. Lights are out. We will not extend flaps until the power back is complete. Let's run through a few more checklists here. That's all been accomplished before takeoff, anti-ice, pitot heat. So we'll do that after we power back, essentially. I think we're ready. Are you guys ready to get... Oh, they are there. Okay, I just can't see them. I might have to adjust them. But yeah, we've got... we have frozen hard butter for the non-butters. And then we have the tissues, especially for a Dimitri during the flyby shot here. So, you may have to bust out those tissues for this power back, guys. It might be loud. But let's do it. Let's go ahead and release the parking brake. Actually, I want to set the camera a little bit more juicy position. Deploy the buckets. Back we go. Gotta love it. We'll do a little turn there. Not a crazy one. And then remember, SOPs, forward thrust. That'll arrest the Perfect. A little forward thrust will arrest the power back. All right, so we are back from the gate. Wrong lever. Where are you at, Boeing? There we are. All right, let's go ahead and set our trim for takeoff. What do we got for bugs? We're doing a flaps 15 departure out of here. We're doing a flaps 15. Set bugs. Reset the trim there for 15. And we're doing, let's do an extension from here. Where's a good flap? Where's a good flap shot? Here we go. We'll drop the flaps back. These flap sounds are good.
Subscriber.
I still think the 73200 has better sounds for the flaps, but I can't remember the last time I was on a 7.2. I don't remember what flaps sound like in a 7.2. Thank you for the subscribe, Daniel. Appreciate it. Knowing FlyJ Sim, this is exactly what they sound. I mean, it's still got that wind down sound. I love it. I think the 7.3, they're just louder, and it's probably, I mean, it's probably true to the real airplane, knowing FlyJ. So, Paul Schuthmus says you restocked all the tissues. Excellent. We're gonna need them. That was actually more than 15, wasn't it? What did I set there? I think I set flaps 20. We can go up one notch. There we go. We only need flaps 15. Still love that flap sound, man. Still love it. All right, here we go. Let's get the checklist done, and then we'll be on our way. Anti-ice as required. Pitot heats come on. Pro Peters. Window heat's already on. Flight instruments are set for departure. Again, same thing as a 732. Got to be 10 steps ahead of this airplane. We're going to need to be harding off runway 5 with the right turn out to 150. Intercept the 180 radial. When we get down there, it's going to be mayhem. We have to track an NDB inbound, but I'm going to leave 17.7 in the standby. That's Tenerife. If all else fails, we can track to Tenerife and then track a radial over to La Palma. So hopefully we'll be able to pick up the NDB prior to that, and then we can track the NDB inbound. What scenery is the LPMA? Andre, once we get in cruise, man, remind me. I'll get a link for you. Right now in the exclamation point scenery, I still have the Madeira scenery, but I will get a link for you. I know the ortho is Spain UHD. All right, no nav, everything looks good. Checklist. All right, pitot heat, flight controls, check, speed breakdown, stab trim is set, flap set for takeoff, galley power, very important that we have that back on, that is on. Electrical, no lights, we're looking good, synchronized went out. Fuel heaters are off, they were never on. Hydraulics, pressure, and quantity. Looking good. Green across the board there. APU is off. Pressure set for cruise altitude. We're going up to 240. That is set. Flight ground switch to flight. Number 2 bleeds are closed. EPR and speed bugs set. We got 250, 2.15 on the EPR for getting out of here, which they are set. 2.15. Guys, we're ready to get out of here. Let's do it. Reset my view. Brakes release, taxi light on. We don't have to back taxi, we're just going to make a right, we'll make a left 360 all the way around. Look at those slats hanging off. That's the all-time favorite look for me, is the 727 all dirtied up. Big old Kruger flaps hanging off there. Gosh, it's such a beautiful airplane. Looks a little dim in here. Let's turn on some floodlights, shall we? Oh, look at that flicker. The attention to detail by FlyJ Sim it's honestly second to none, man. For payware. I mean, you got Zebo, which is really good too. Alright, we're going to be blasting off out of runway 5. We'll turn on to Charlie, small back taxi, flip it around in the pad. Do make sure that my yoke is set up proper. Yes, all right. So one thing that I'm going to be interested to try out in the 321 on our way back, I've set my yoke to be the tiller, and now my rudders act fully as rudder pedals only in the Airbus. So you don't get that, because if you don't have a tiller set on the aircraft, once you're on the ground, the rudders kind of become your tiller. So I'm interested to see how that works out when we fly that 321 back. We're going to go ahead and turn all our lights on because we're on the runway now. And we're just going to light it up. That is a thing of beauty right there. Flying Guitar says, definitely my favorite airplane in the sim. Always spamming the Discord. Oh yeah, I see it, man. I see him. Alright, we're going to use a little turnaround majig here. We should have went on the other side, but I think we can flip it around here. Yeah, the textures on the ground just aren't very good on this airport. But the elevated runway is where it's at. Alright, we are ready to go. We're going to depart out of here on a heading of 150. I'm going to keep my flight director off right now. Autopilot is ready to go when necessary. Clear for takeoff. Start switches are guarded. On altitude for the transponder. Landing lights on. Auto pack trim switch. Normal. After takeoff, and that's it. Alright. You guys ready? I'm ready. Set my view just where I want it so I can see the VOR down there. Alright, here we go. Stand them up. That's where you get those old references, you know. Stand those throttles up. Stand those thrust levers up. 50% stable. Here we go. Looking for 2.15 EPR. .15. Whoa, don't overboost it there. Come down, come down. Set.
80 knots.
Thrust set. Let's do a flyby shot. It's probably going to mess up the takeoff, but oh well. Gosh, that's awesome. We are rotating already because I wasn't paying attention. Positive rate. Gear up. I don't know how you don't love that. Let's start the right turn immediately to 150. We will be back, Madeira, one more time. One more time. There's our reduction altitude. Get that nose coming down. Let's bring those EPRs back, 1.95. And flaps 5. In the right turn to 150. Looking good. Flyby shot again. Oh, wow. Alright, up by 200 knots. Let's go flaps 2. Roll it out about 150. Flap 0 after takeoff checklists. Let's go ahead and put the gear handle in the off position. Recycle U. And I'm slowly going to lower that nose, looking for 250 knots. I'm seeing that toilet paper emoji. I might have to make it, I might have to make that tissue paper emoji a little bit darker. A little bit darker. Oops. 180 on the course line. Spin that heading bug over. 4.8. We're looking good. Still want to come up to about 250 on the speed. Trim that nose down a tad. So like right here, if I just select IAS hold, the airplane will pretty much level off and it may even enter a descent. So you really want to get the airplane in the position that you want it to be in before you get the autopilot on. So there's our course, 180. We're tracking that outbound. Here comes 250 knots. So to make my life easier, we're going to go, that is on, heading select, IAS hold, altitude select, and we already are tracking. So altitude select is armed, VOR loc, we're tracking 180 outbound, we're IAS hold at 250 knots. Let's turn the flight director on now to match nav loc, and we'll put the pitch attitude for 250, seems to be right about there. So we're green on green, 7.5 out of 10, flyby time, and then checklist. Wow. But then it's nice and quiet up front, which it is. I mean, if you've ever been on an MD-80 or any tail-mounted airplane, up front of the wing there, it's pretty darn quiet. KSK Super says, I flew with the 727 many times as a child. Yes, sir. It's a shame that they're no longer around, man. I know I was on the 727 a handful of times, and I'll never forget. My most fond memory, though, of the 7.2 is seeing it do a power back. I think it was SFO. We were in San Francisco, and I just watched I believe it was a T-Way 727 do a power back from the gate. It felt like, you know, as a kid, I don't know how true this was, but to me as a kid, when I look back on it, it felt like the whole window was shaking, you know, looking out over the tarmac, seeing that 727 pushback. It just seemed to be the most, and ever since then, that was it for me. And then I decided to fly Airbus, so I don't know how that worked out. There's 11,000. We're going to slowly keep creeping that speed up. We're looking for 92% on the climb out. 1.91 on the Eber seems to be doing it for us right there. I think we can turn the floodlight off. We'll keep it back. We'll keep it on. Let's make sure our after takeoff checklist. Seatbelt sign is on for now. Anti-ice close open as required. Gear is up and off. Auto pack trip cutout is set. Hydraulic pressure and quantity. Let's go over here and make sure everything is kosher. So everything looks good there. Hydraulics look good here. And how is our pressurization? The cabin is climbing 200 feet a minute. Perfect. Pressure checked and set up to 240. In flight mode. Cabin is climbing. That is confirmed. Climb N1, 92%. Flaps up by 200, so we're good. We are pretty much ready now. Get on out of here. Is that green stuff on the gear handle simulated mold? No. No, man, that's just the color of the material of the gear handle. I've seen that a couple times, just jump seating on Boeing aircraft. Simulated mold. It's too funny. All right, we'll keep creeping that nose down a little bit there. How are we looking on our chart here? We can get rid of the LPMA airport. And we're looking good here. So Ortis, and then we're going to track Ortis to Brick. Now, in order to identify Brick, we have to pick up the NDB, which I can't even believe I'm saying this. 112, 389. 389 is the NDB freak, which I do have it tuned in the active. I'm going to verify that, put this one on it as well. 389. Alright, so we have 389 on the NDB. But if I put these in the NDB mode, I'm not getting any signal, so that's pretty normal. On VOR, we still have VOR. That's good. Here comes 17.3. I know we're well above transition for where we are, so we'll set 2992 once, twice, and 3 times. Man, this airplane keeps you busy, doesn't it? 1, 2, and 3 is set. We are 33 miles from FUN, Tenerife 17.7. I'm going to put that on nav 2. All right. Now we're ready. Now we're ready to chill. Let's hop outside for a minute. Watch your ears. Go Fly Sim, what's going on, man? He says, V1, what's up? I hope you're enjoying your stay in Madeira. Being Portuguese, I certainly am. 2 approach suggestions, if I may. The SBRJ RNAV02 and Pero keep blasting the skies. Absolutely, man. Appreciate your suggestions. I will definitely look at that. I know Pero Bhutan, definitely going to be going there at some point. Definitely. If only we could smell the Jet A exhaust right now. Exactly. You'd be smelling Jet A, a little bit of hydraulics, just the seat material. Anytime you get one of these old classic airplanes, it has its smell. Definitely does. Tim, what's up, man? He says, I'm now waiting for you to fly the Russian version of the 727, the TU-154. I will, man, at some point. At some point, I got to get in the TU-154. Dimitri says, I wonder what the world those pilots were doing to get the gear handle that wore out. Yeah, I don't know, man. Hey, you get bored in the 7.2, right? I don't know how they had spare time because this thing is a handful. Best 727 view is on approach at threshold, everything dirty and hanging out. Yes, sir. Brian Harris, I couldn't agree more, man. And this approach is probably one of the top 3 approaches that we're going to be doing because we're going to be circling in there. Swappy S, thank you so much for the donation, man. A $1 bomb. Thank you for supporting the channel. He says, hey everyone, I hope you are well. Couple of things. I got Toga lock message while taking off in the Flight Factor 320 doing the Toga takeoff. Can you explain the reason behind this and how to get out of heading mode? Oh, well, to get out of heading mode, you have to be in. You have to have a nav track available. So my ears will be bleeding by the time we get to Tenerife if I do that. Plus, we should probably stay inside the cockpit. There's 23 for 24. We're leveling. Oh, so here's my thing. Let's go ahead and creep this speed forward a little bit. Start the level off process a wee bit early. There you go. Oop, not too much. See, I moved it too much, and now it really leveled off. So to get out of heading mode, what you need to do is be on an intercept course and press the heading button in, and that will remanage your navigation. And you can verify that on the FMA. You'll see nav pop up. Now you got a Toga lock. I'm assuming because you activated a stall protection system there on rotation. You probably rotated too fast, and Toga lock or alpha floor was triggered because alpha floor is a protection, a stall protection on the Airbus, but it is a what's the word when it's like anticipatory. So it sees your trend. It reads the trend and what's happening, and if it anticipates that you're going to be in a stalling position, it will go with alpha floor if the certain conditions are met. Toga lock, that means your thrust levers are in full Toga. All you have to do at that point is move the thrust levers. Now, easiest way out of Toga lock, since you're already taken off, move them into the Toga position, and then bring them back down to the auto thrust range and re-engage the auto thrust. Or you can go the opposite way and just bring them to idle real quick. You don't even have to wait for the engines to spool down. Just bring the throttle to the idle detent. It shuts everything off, and then immediately start pushing the throttles back forward to where you need them. I would recommend the first one going forward because you don't want to, I don't know, it's really good practice to despool there on takeoff. But if you do it quick enough, the engines won't even react because the FADEC controls the actual output. So just cycle those thrust levers and disengage the auto thrust. The Toga lock is because you rotated too fast, triggered alpha floor. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and bring the EPR back down to 1.7 here. We'll see what that yields us for a speed. 1.7 across the board, setting my bugs here just as a reminder. And we're still creeping up at 80 Mach. Good night. Let's come right back to 1.65. We're 464. And we already picked up Tenerife, 187 miles from Tenerife. Looking good. I'm going to put this ADF on 2 so we can see if we start picking up La Palma ADF. We're doing 80 Mach. Good night. Let's turn the seatbelt sign off and do a flyby shot here. Smoke them if you got them. Oh, yes. Gotta love it. Swappy says, thanks for the info. No problem, man. I hope it helps you out. Dimitri, yes, man. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, man, hit that like button for me. What do we got? Let's do a like check here real quick. 113 likes, 188 watching. I'll take it. I'll take it. Try to work harder for you guys. I mean, I wouldn't even hit the like button for me. I would hit the like button for the 727. Because if you can't hit the like button for the 727, man, something's wrong. The 727 is just straight up one of the most pretty airplanes, manly airplanes out there. I don't know which wing view I like better. We'll stick with this one so we can see some of the water. You're not called Tommy Kami, American pilot flying the Russian jet. You know, I saw some pictures of the Tupolev or the Tupolev Tu-154 flying around. It looks like a freaking beast, man. I don't own it yet, but it is on my list of airplanes that I wanna get and learn it. I think it probably would be something that I would enjoy. I love that rudimentary flying, and especially seeing how different developers come up with the same solutions, right? So you have the Tu-154, which does a lot of the same things as the 727, but the way it's displayed on your instrumentation and the way the systems work, they're all different routes and different ideas, but they all accomplish the same task. That's why I think it's fun to fly multiple aircraft around, just because you get to see all the nuances. What? You can smoke in a 717? Yeah, you can smoke in a 717 and a 727. Well, actually, I don't know. You probably can't smoke in a 717. Maybe back in the day, but I don't know if the last 727, probably not. I was going to say the last 727 probably was retired from passenger service with smoking still enabled. It might have been. I don't know. Maybe in the States. I don't know when the last passenger service 727 was retired in the States. How many FPS do you have on the Flight Factor P20? Man, streaming, I can hold between 25 and 30 probably streaming with you guys. Without streaming, I can probably get... Well, that's probably inaccurate. I can probably do 20 to 28 streaming, and I would do probably 35 max without streaming. It is the flight factor is hard on the frames. Definitely is. Do a quick check up here, make sure everything is good in the cockpit. No, we're still increasing speed a little bit. Jeez, we're doing like 8.6 Mach. Gosh, this plane is wicked. Oh, this plane is just such a beast. You got to get prepared for the Fisher-Price horn on the Tu-154. It's so annoying. Yeah. Would also like to see me in a MiG-21. Captain Tom, now you're talking. I do have the MiG-21 on DCS. It's a hell of a lot of fun to fly. Strix, get out of here. Oh, in-flight meal. I thought you had to go to dinner. The missus cooked supper and brought it up to you. That's the in-flight meal sorted. Excellent. Straight up juicy, Strix. I would show you the cabin and then bring you the in-flight service, but there is no cabin on the 7.2, unfortunately. 8.6 Mach is hella fast. Yeah, dude, and the thing is, we're only at 24,000 feet, guys. 24,000 feet, and this thing is doing 8.6, 8.7 Mach like nothing. I got the EPR down to 1.6. We're doing 80% N1. I mean, this airplane is a beast. I should put my flight director in altitude hold mode as well. Looks like we're slightly getting off course there a little bit. Well, this isn't to scale. This isn't solid. Let's take a look. I guess we can switch inbound. Oh, you know why? It's because I'm on 178, not the 180. I need to be tracking the 180, so we're going to let the airplane kind of intercept that 180 radial. Slight jaunt in the turn there. I got to bring the thrust back just a tad more. What's our fuel? 2,800 pounds. Man, 2,800 pounds an engine times 3. That's a lot of fuel. 9.0 Mach if it's 154. I bet we could get this. I bet we could get this bird up to 9.0 if I tried. Yeah, Tesla guy. They built these airplanes to go fast back in the day. PP739 says jump seat on a 727 Memphis to St. Louis in 1988. Fantastic, man. I never got the opportunity to jump seat on a 727, but I did take a 727 pilot on my jump seat one time, flying for Kalitta. He's a Kalitta Air 727 guy, and he was on my jump seat up to Louisville. Douglas says, you just had my dinner on your lap too while watching? Hey man, that's the only way to do it. You guys are hardcore. I appreciate it. Somebody told me, now a good friend of mine, well I say a good friend of mine, I haven't talked to him in a couple of years now, but he used to fly 727s for United. And he had some stories about, there was a way on the flight engineer panel, or the flight engineer would do, if you had a really experienced flight engineer, there's a way to do something that, where they would crack one of the slats or something, like forward, or slightly deploy the flap handle. And what it would allow the airplane to do was to really go fast. I mean, you would pull the circuit breaker for the overspeed warning, and you could do well over what the overspeed warning was. And apparently they were doing that one time, and one of the crew members went to go to use the lav, came back, saw the flap handle or the circuit breaker out of position. I can't remember exactly how the situation went down. But he said, oh, what's that doing out? Pushed the circuit breaker back in, and it retracted whatever was extended on the wing, and the airplane immediately started overspeeding and started entering a Mach tuck, and just, it was a bad situation. But that was one of the stories from him. Yannick, what's up, man? He says, I love the streams, V1. Learned a lot about the Airbus. Yannick, that's excellent, man. Maybe we can learn some stuff about an NDB approach. So, let's go ahead and start prepping this, because we are kind of oscillating around the 180 there. Looks like we got a heck of a crosswind up here. That's going to make for a very interesting flight inbound. Alright, so now we're trying to intercept the 180, which we're struggling. We'll do the 181. Wow, it's the crosswind. So we're tracking, well, we must be blowing sideways pretty good here. It's just having a hard time coming over. So look at that, we got about a 30-degree offset there from our heading in the path. Alright, but what we need to do is, or eventually, I'm going to put this back on 180. We'll let the airplane do its thing. It might be better to intercept the 360 from Tenerife. Let's do that. We're going to flip this over to 17.7. And oh boy, I did it wrong. Go heading select first. There we go. And now we want to select the 360. Oh no, the 180 inbound. That was right. 180 inbound to Tenerife, which is the 360 radial. So 180. Get that heading back over there. Airplane starts turning. Let's go ahead and just bring these zippers back to 1.55. So we're 100 miles from Tenerife. Brick intersection is on the 360 radial, the 180 inbound, and the 236 bearing to La Palma, Bravo X-ray, which is 389. I have the ADF tuned here, 389. That is set. We might actually have to ID ADF1. What do we got down here? ADF1 and NAV1. Okay, so that's That's nav 1. That's Tenerife. We don't need to listen to that. And let's put you back into VOR. Hold. Nav loc. Get back on course there, Mr. 727. So it's struggling because we got a pretty good crosswind up here. So what we're looking for is this ADF needle right here, because down is ADF. So when it's completely horizontal, that means you're not receiving a signal. Plus, I've verified it with the audio panel over here. I'm not picking up any ADF tones. Once we start picking up an ADF tone, this airplane is really having a hard time finding that radial. The NDB, unlike a VOR, is only going to show you where the station is. It doesn't have radians and you can't track specific courses. What we track are bearings, and it's a very inaccurate, well, I shouldn't say very inaccurate, but it is a lot less accurate than, say, a VOR or especially a localizer or an RNAV airway, something like that. So it's a lot less accurate. And a lot of it is ballparking. So, for instance, this course or bearing inbound is 237. I'd be happy if I could keep the needle on 240 because it's pretty hard to differentiate the exact bearing. So I'm going to try to make it 237, but sometimes it's easier to just kind of get the round up situation going. So what we need to do for this approach is we need to intercept the 237 bearing inbound, or we may just intercept whatever we can inbound, and then we have to arc off of a DME. The DME is La Palma 112.4, so I need to tune that in, 112.4, and I'm going to put that on active nav 2. I am getting DME from nav 2, so I'm already 107 miles and closing from the DME station of La Palma. So at least we've got that going for us. Now we're looking for is that signal, that Bravo X-ray 389 NDB signal to track inbound. And what will happen is this needle will actually point to the station. So the head is going to point inbound to 237, and the tail is going to be about about 057. So we're waiting to pick up the ADF signal. We may have to self-vector ourselves. Now, I'm sure if this was in a real live situation, they would have air traffic control vector them a little bit closer, at least give them a heading to get in position. And we may end up having to do that a little bit as we get closer. But you can see now we finally look like we rejoined the proper radial there. Airplane is starting to establish itself. 236 bearing inbound is what we want to track. And I just want to verify 389. It is 389. So I'm going to put the ADF that is on. We're going to leave that on. 389 and DME2 just in case. And I have it on normal. Normal. Everything looks good. Alright. So we're at this point just waiting for an NDB signal. And you can see the airplane is kind of, it's way off course. It's having a hard time to correct. So it's like the RMI needles on the electronic HSI. Yes, it's exactly like the RMI needles, except this is what's called a fixed card ADF. So this, oh, I'm sorry, it's not a fixed card. This is a movable card ADF or RMI. This card moves. The really old school ones, which were a pain in the butt, is this card was just stationary, and you would manually move it. That, talk about getting confusing. Oh man, I kept moving my radial on accident. I accidentally moved my course knob there. Alright, I'm going to help the airplane out. We're going to start reducing speed. We're 100 miles. We also have to think about top of descent. So you can see we're approaching Brick, and I'm not quite getting any ADF signal yet. I'll fly past Brick, and then I will start the turn inbound, because 63 miles is Brick intersection. So about 5 miles we are at Brick. I'll go a few miles past it. That way we have a little bit more time on the arc. Well, we could just self-vector ourselves on a heading of 237. We could always do that too. But real quick, we got to go top of descent. So we're going to cross. We want to be at 4,000 feet on the arc. We're at 24,000 feet, so that's 20 times 3 is 60. We're at 60 from Tenerife, but we're 95 from La Palma. So 60 miles for top of descent. Let's add 15 just because it's a 727 and we're on an ADF approach. So I'm going to give myself plenty of time to get down. So it's 75 miles is going to be my top of descent. We're going to start coming down. All right, so we're pretty much past Brick now. I wonder... We're going to go just a little bit further. Yeah, we're definitely not picking up the ADF yet, so we're going to have to give ourselves a heading inbound. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up heading select. And we're going to fly heading 240. And I'm going to get rid of the Tenerife so I'm not confused. So now I'm flagged out here. So now I'm only looking for ADF indications. This course knob does absolutely nothing. We do have DME 2 at 88 miles. I guess I could put that on DME 1 too, just a little extra. 112.4. Always back it up. So now I've got DME from La Palma. We're 80 miles away, 85 miles away. Still waiting for that signal from the ADF. Not picking it up yet. So you definitely need to be on a vector or a heading. I was hoping that we would be able to fly an airway or a radial down here, but there really isn't, unless we fly all the way to Tenerife and then track a Tenerife outbound. But, you know, this looks like we're going to be close enough there. So here comes 82. I'm going to start thinking about my descent here. So I'm going to do a speed descent. We're going to come back to about 30% N1. Should have turned this on. And we're going to descend to 4,000. So I'm going to set 4,000 feet here in the altitude selector. 4 miles to go until we start down. Positive rate. What's going on, man? Kind of ignored the chat there. I'm sorry, guys, but ADF stuff is... I'm already starting to sweat here. How do you program the route in this aircraft? Well, in this aircraft, man, we're just doing VOR and ADF navigation. Here's 75. I'm going to start reducing my throttles, IAS hold, and also want to capture altitude arm, so that is armed. Start working those throttles back nice and slow. Aircraft noses over. So in this flight, we're just doing the VOR to an ADF. But it is capable of using the SIVA INS and using the default FMC if you wish. But I think in this airplane, you either got to go straight old school or you got to use the SIVA INS. It's just a lot more satisfying. Yeah, Alex K's right on. It's mostly hand flowing, and we're definitely hand flying. So we are going to do, just for your guys' knowledge, we're going to come in here, we're going to arc, we're going to shoot the 213 inbound to 4 DME, and we're not going to land southbound. I'm going to manually break off and just do a hand flowing circle. Circle to land, Cat B, 1520 is the MDA. So we can start setting up our rad out. Oh, it won't even go that high, so we're good there. I still don't like that I'm not picking up any ADF. Start walking those throttles back even more. We'll turn the seatbelt sign on. Oops, wrong one. Do a descent checklist. Seatbelts on, anti-eyes closed open, landing lights on. We'll do that at 10,000. Altimeters, we'll check, so we'll hold it there pretty much. Let's check out the weather. What do we got here? Weather is 030 at 6. Let's refresh it. 040 at 4. 1018. So I'm going to set it in the standby. 1018 is going to be 3006. Pretty much the same as where we took off. I'll set the first officers. Well, no, then we'll have a Barrow disagree. Scenery link. Yes, let me get it. LPMA. Oh no, GCLA. X-Plane 11. La Palma. It's quite nice. Oh, I'm here in ADF. Here is the scenery link, guys. The same one I'm using. There's our ADF. All right, it's time to go to work. We're picking it up. I can go ahead and turn off the audio. Oops, that's turned out. So here we go. We're tracking the 240 inbound. Pull up my approach chart. We want to be on the 237. So you have to, when you're driving to the station, we need to drag the needle. So I want to be on 237. I need to come left a few degrees on my heading to drag this heading to be 230. So there's 220, 230, 235. If I could put this needle right in between there, that's pretty darn close for me. So I'm going to set up a little turn to the left. We finally got it. Here comes 18,000. Let's go ahead and continue reducing all the way back to 30. We're doing 330 knots on the descent. Good night. We need to slow. I think we need to slow that down a little bit. So we don't need this chart anymore because we're pretty much off of it. If we want to do a hold, we can hold at the 22.5 DME fix off the 237 bearing. Oh, Madeira, if you do exclamation point scenery. But somebody asked for La Palma scenery, and that's the link for you right there in the in the chat. Oh, I already made a mistake. Flying to the bearing, we need to go this way. Let's see, so now we're on 245. We're going, we corrected the wrong direction. That's my mistake. We're flying, this is how, I haven't done this in so long. We turn away from the station to move the bearing pointer to the left. So now, see, I'm flying 245. I want to be on 237. So let's make a correction here. Let's just fly about 255-ish. Drag this needle back to the left. Here comes 17,000, descending 4,000. We're looking for a 16 DME arc, but if we need to do a turn on the hold, we can do that at the 22.5. We'll just call it the 22 DME mark. We'll do a right turn in the hold. Probably want to start slowing up a tad too. I'm going to come all the way back to idle. Horn cut out, pull the lever there. All right, there we go. So yeah, flying to the station, I already messed up. See, now our bearing pointer is going opposite of the airplane that we're turning. Make another correction here. But this is, I mean, this is NDB. 237, 240, 3 degrees is pretty nitpicky. But we're going to try to do it as best we can. All right, so we're right there on the 240 bearing. We'll come a few more degrees to the left. And what's hard about this is the wind. So I can't just fly, put this on 237 and then fly 237, because if the wind is pushing me from the right, that means I got to fly my heading more to the right to crab into the wind, right? But I don't have anything telling me what the correction that I need. So you just kind of have to find it out. All right, so that's where I want the bearing pointer if I can. So let's go ahead and bring the heading back over. We'll try to keep it there as best we can. I'm going to set 245-ish to see if we need to, if that'll hold that bearing or not. 14.5, we're going to be a little high, so we'll do the turn in the hold at 22 DME. That's not a problem. 3,000 by ATC. We're not on ATC. We'll just maintain 4,000 in the hold here. So at 22.5, but at about 23, as soon as this thing hits 23 or 24, I'm going to start my turn. Because we are cooking. We are above holding speed anyway, so let's get the brake out a little bit. So right about 245 seems to be close enough to the 237 bearing inbound. Again, luckily there's nothing to hit at here on an NDB. We're out over the water. But we might actually need the approach because I can't really see anything. 237 bearing inbound. Here comes 11,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and scroll back to 250. There comes the 23 turn. Let's start a right turn immediately. In the hold to 060 in the hold. And you can see there's NASA. We're using this as a cheater reminder, but 22.5, we're in the turn. Coming back to 250 knots out of 10,000 feet. We'll get our lights on. Man, I cannot wait to be back in that Airbus. 9.6, descending 4,000, run a checklist. Here we go. Seatbelts are on, anti-ice is required, landing lights on, altimeters. 30-6. Set once, set twice. First officer, need an FO. Is set 3 times. Radio altimeter is set. We can't set it more than 10,000 feet there, it looks like. Flight instrument set. Hydraulic pressure and quantity is normal. Pressure and cooling doors are set. Probably could have closed those to half on the descent there, at least. Let's close those to half. Did somebody remember to start the timer when I turned outbound on the hold? Adian says, interesting to see a fixed card in action. Never had them installed in the flight school. Wow. You're lucky, man. Descending left turn. Descending right turn, excuse me. Alright. Refreshed on the pilot. There's wings level. There's 8. We're going to wait 1 minute, and then we're going to turn inbound. So we're going to fly this heading for 1 minute. What does our bearing pointer say? There's altitude select, 4,000 feet. We're leveling. Get ready to get that thrust back in there. Matter of fact, I'm going to come all the way back to 200 knots on the speed. Altitude hold. That looks good. We got to set up our landing VREF as well. Whoops. We're going to do flaps further landing. Set bugs. 127 on the approach. That looks good. About another 40 seconds until this hits the 8, then we can turn inbound. Now that I have everything set up, let's look at our bearing pointer. We're a little bit off, but that's right, we're tracking outbound, so we don't have to track outbound. Here comes the 1 minute mark. There's 8, so now let's turn inbound. And we're looking for that 237 inbound again. But we know we have to correct a little bit to the right, so we'll start with 240. We'll see where that ends up at 240 on the heading. Looks like we just broke through the cloud layer there. OAT is above 15. We don't need any engine anti-ice. Sorry I'm ignoring you guys in the chat here, but this is a lot of work. Here comes 200. Let's go flaps 5 on the flaps. Yeah, we can go all the way to flaps 15 if we want to. Flaps 5, speed coming back up. Get that thrust in there. Turn, baby, turn. All right, let's continue thinking about the approach here. Darren Allen coming in with a $25 bomb. Darren Allen, thank you so much, man. He says, your contribution to the flight sim community is priceless. Thanks again for the awesome content. Darren, thank you so much, man, for supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad you're enjoying the content. I love doing this stuff for you guys. I hope you can pick up some tidbits of information here and here. Thank you so much for your support, man. All right, look at that. We're rolling out on 240. Look at our bearing pointer. Right about 235, two bearings or 2 degrees off. I will take that from 237. Now we're looking for our turn inbound at 18 DME. We start the turn, and we're looking to hold a 16 DME arc. Making it come a little bit more to the left there. We undershot that turn a tad. We'll fly a 235-ish. Try to get back to where we need to be. So now we're at 4,000 feet. Watch the speed. Our next checkpoint is the 18 DME mark to start our turn inbound on the arc, maintaining a 16 DME arc. Looking for the 213 inbound. Oh boy. So I'm going to set this here as a reminder so I can let's see what I'm supposed to be tracking, right? This is doing nothing, but at least it's a reminder. That's the course we want to be on right now. We need to correct a little bit more to the left. Power's a little off there. Try to find that sweet 200 knot mark. Is the speed brake out? No, speed brake is stowed, but we are flaps 5. Turn opposite since we're turning in, that we're tracking inbound to the bearing now, so we got to turn opposite. I want to bring the needle right, so I got to turn left. So we're sitting on 232. We're about 5 bearings off. What we're going to do at 18 DME, I'm going to start a right turn 90 degrees from course 237. So it's going to be about 320 on the heading. We should roll out at about 16 DME. Once we reach 16 DME, we want to hold that. Since the station is going to be off my left-hand side, if I turn right, I will increase my DME. If I turn left, I will decrease my DME. We want to try to maintain that 16 DME mark. Once we reach the 213 inbound, which we'll be looking over here, the 213, that's our final approach course inbound. And hopefully we see something and we can descend to 3,000 once we reach 16 DME. There's 18 in the right turn, 90 degrees. Here we go. Thank God for autopilot. And we're, of course, we're shooting this. What's the viz? Do we have like the ceiling? Scattered 3,000. Wow, we actually have to. I thought I was going to be doing this in visual conditions for fun. No, we are actually shooting an NDB DME approach. All right, we're going to hold 180 on the speed. I'm going to go flaps 15. We're going to bug 180 knots. There's 17. There's a trim running. That scares the living crap out of me. I hate hearing the trim wheel run like that. All right, there's 16 DME. We're on the arc now. We are on the arc. We're waiting for the head of the needle now to reach 213 degrees. That's our final approach course. But according to this chart, it looks like we can start our turn inbound when it reaches 221. A little bit more power, a little bit more power, and we also need to descend to 3,000. Set 3,000. IAS hold. Altitude arm. Retract that power. Down we go. Just a tad off there. We're like 16.8. So I'm going to correct to the left ever so slightly. All right, there's 220 bearing. We're looking for 221. There it is. Let's start inbound to our final approach course of 213 degrees. Here we go. Coming left, heading 213. We're close enough to the station now where I'm just going to fly heading 213. 3.4, descending 3,000. Speed is about 170 knots. We're looking good. We're going to need to get out of the clouds here. What's our MDA? What did I say it was? After we pass 11 DME, we can go all the way down to 1,500. So I'll set this up for 1,500. A little bit more power, a little bit more power. A little slow there, about 10 knots slow. Get that power in there. All right, we're tracking inbound 213. Our bearing pointer is 213. We're 15 miles. Our final approach fix is at 11. So we got 4 miles to go, and then we are going to dump it down to 1,500 feet. And this is a no joke. This is actually really cool. I was not anticipating having to shoot this approach for real. All right. I'm definitely making myself a new bourbon before we get back in that Airbus. There's 14 miles. Our DME is our NDB is drifting ever so slightly, so I want to bring the needle left, so I'm going to correct right a few degrees. How are we looking on our cheaty? Looking good. There's 13. I'm pretty much going to just do an idle descent and get us down ASAP to 1,500 feet. There's 12 miles. Right when this starts to move, I'm going to begin the IAS hold descent. There it goes. We're close enough. IAS hold. Altitude select. Throttle's coming back. Down we go. Please, let's see something. This is where it all comes together. Can we please see an island? All I want for Christmas is to see the island of La Palma. What's our missed approach point? 4 miles? Rip. Alright, 1,500. There's 1,000 feet to go. Correct right, of course. A few degrees. That needle is drifting. Is there anything out there? I can see the water. What is the visibility today? Oh, wow. 30... not as good as I thought. Rip. There's 1,500 feet, guys. I see lights! Oh, gotta get that power in there. Gotta get that power in there. I see lights. I see lights. I'm gonna keep us at 160. Alright, so we don't have to go mist. I see lights. Look at this. I see something over here as well. But here's the problem. I don't see the airport. So, I need to get my track IR on. Rip. How we looking? We're going right at it. There's some flashy lights. I see a beacon! At 5 miles, I saw the beacon! Continue! We're continuing the approach. Wow, we might have to land. This is nuts, guys. This is nuts. Alright, we're gonna go down 1,000 to 1,000 feet. This is not strictly legal. Plus or minus 500 feet PTS standards, though, right? I think that's the runway right there. How on earth am I supposed to circle this? Alright, what is the... 3.5 is the runway course, so I'm going to set 3.5. So I have just kind of a reference of where I need to be turning. We're at 160 knots, flaps 15. Yeah, there's the airport. Wow, okay, left turn, here we go. That's where we need to land, guys. We are in the turn. We made it! We made it! That was not very legal at all, but okay, we need to get the, I need to get the old track IR set here, else I'm never going to be able to make this turn. Let's turn everything off. Gear down. Now we are a lot tighter than I want to be, so I'm going to swing left a little bit. Flaps 20. A little bit of a balloon there. I've never crashed on stream, but for some reason this might be the first one. All right, here we go. There's our VREF speed. Let's go flaps 30 in the right turn. I'm gonna maintain about 500 feet if I can here until I can see what I'm doing when we come out of the turn. Swing, baby, swing. Watch that power, watch that power. Are you guys nervous yet? Because I sure am. Whoa, a little bit of a balloon there. Where's that runway at? Oh, there it is. There it is. Let's maintain about 600 here. We're on VREF, flaps 30, gear is down, landing checklist complete. Holy crap. I got the runway in sight. Don't overshoot this turn here. That's the last thing we need is going to the mountain after all that work. Alright, now, to add insult to injury, this runway is by no means flat, especially an X-plane, so let's get on speed here.
500.
Little low. Correcting. Oh, I don't care if I balloon this one.
10.
We're down. Woof. That's that runway coming up to meet us there. Holy crap. My hands are sweating on that one. Oh my god. That was the most... That was it, guys. That's the hairiest approach I've ever flown on stream right there. You just witnessed it. Bummer, we got a hard landing on that one. But I think it's just the slope on the terrain. We'll have to look at the replay. I definitely had a little bit of a balloon. I missed the first touchdown. But at this point, I was not going around. Hell no. Big Demon says, good luck, we're all counting on you. Ah, man. We did it. We shot a VOR, or I'm sorry, we shot an NDB DME approach to minimums with a circle to land in the 727. Wow. That was the hardest approach I've ever done on stream. Right there. You just witnessed it. Let's clean it up and get on the frickin' ramp. What do you say? Look at the sloping terrain. He's tripping the altitude alerter. Let's set that up to 3,000. Yeah, this runway is hugely sloped. Look at the APU firing up. Positive rates from us. I appreciate it, man. Where's that? There, Russ D. There we go. There's the hard butter. Definitely. We were hard butter on this one. That's why I made that emoji. Hard butter. Frozen butter. You need a lot of power to get up this hill. You missed the landing? No worries, man. We're going to look at the replay here. I guess I just come to these islands at the wrong time because this island looks amazing with the UHD ortho on it. With the windmills blowing there. Jeremy Harvey says, I earned my pay already. Yeah, man, that was no joke. Alright, here we go. Let's go ahead and turn it off. But how about the scenery, though? With the windmill and everything. Got a British Airways at the gate. Air Berlin. That's what we're taking. We're taking an Air Berlin Airbus out of here. I love the scenery, though. It's really nice. Especially for a freeware. Let's look at our track. How did our track look like on this? Well, look at that. Did a turn. There was our descending turn, the arc, and then the approach inbound. I love it. We're going to the stairs here. No gate for us. Auto Park. B722, that's us. As we go through the parking sign into the terminal. Be a great way to end it, wouldn't it? Alright, brakes are set. APU on bus there. And we did close it, right? Yep. Let's shut it down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to La Palma. Good night. No, this is not Madeira. This approach makes Madeira look like a walk in the park. Wow. Alright, let me make sure real view is off and let's do a replay. Listening to those engines spool down is awesome, though. Woo, buddy. Let me complete the flight in Sim Toolkit Pro. New landing report. So, I'm going to take this. Sim Toolkit Pro said I landed at 193. At negative 193. I'm going to take that landing from Sim Toolkit Pro. Let's watch this replay. Man. Nice little scenery. Have to look into it. Definitely Slam Cannon. Definitely. If you guys want this scenery link, this is the one that I'm using for this airport, La Palma. But I think this approach may be my new favorite. I don't know. It's hard. That approach was hard. Especially because we couldn't see anything. Oh, look at the flaps. Excuse me, the roll spoilers. This is a flapper on right here. Beer time, McShiggity Pilot. Yes, sir. I'm going to be getting a new drink here when we turn the Be Right Back screen on. I thought we were going to nail this landing. Right there. Then it just didn't happen. Oh, yeah. Spoilers. Look at those flaps. All right, one from right here, and then we'll watch the outside view. I just like seeing these flaps hanging down. Little trim tab right there. See that? Little trim tab on the flapper on. Oh, yeah. All off center line, but I'll take it. Let's back you up. Where do we want to go? We want to go on the runway. Right there. Oh, boy. Oh, it's raining. Oh. That is tissue with it. Oh, I can't see. Oh, little Airbus flare. That's what it was. It was an Airbus flare. Got me. Oh yeah, and then we just came down and ate it. So where do we touch down? Let's see. Right there. So let's move the. We'll do this. We're gonna move this camera right here. Yeah, the Airbus flare got me. Airbus flare got me again. Fall victim to the Airbus flare. But look at that. You can't beat that view. I don't care who you are. That airplane is bad. Look at me flaring at like 30 feet. Can I ask for lower, please? Oh. It doesn't help that the runway's sloping away from you either. Because if I zoom back, I bet you won't even see the airplane. Oh, shoot. Too far. Too far. Too far. Up, 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 up. Tower view as we look through the glass there of water effects. Oh. All right. One more, then we got to service the airplane and get out of here. Where's my turn? That was a wicked turn. That wing view over the water. Definitely had some weird gusts of wind there. What are you doing? Don't flare! Don't flare! There we go, now flare. All right. That was awesome. That was awesome. All right. I got a shot at Madeira. I got a shot at one more circle to land approach. I'll tell you what though. Anything's going to be easier than that approach. All right, guys. Bahamian Pilot. Thank you so much, man. Since nice streams, loving it so far. Guys, I'm going to throw up the Be Right Back screen. I'm going to fix myself a stiff little bourbon drink so we can relax. And when we come back, we will be flying the Toliss A321, beautiful Air Berlin paint scheme as well, with the 1.03 beta. And you'll be able to see some of the new features. We'll talk about the changelog a little bit, the current changelog anyway. It may change. This is all, private stream still. It's not released. On our way up to Madeira for the last chance at a perfect circle to land up there. This approach was far from perfect, especially since it was pretty much illegal if we didn't have the visibility to shoot this approach in real life. So we still did it, but I'm going to throw the Be Right Back screen up, guys. Top off your drinks, stretch your legs, and get ready for the next leg. I'll see you in a minute. All right, all right. Wow, look at that lovely scenery reload. Why couldn't we have weather like that on the approach, huh? My goodness. When I reloaded it to the Airbus, I turned on active sky for this flight, going back up to Madeira. That just is a thing of beauty right there. The clouds just tingling the mountaintops. Excellent. I hope you guys are ready for round two. I feel relaxed. I got a new drink. Got to use the lav. We're in an Airbus. We're in the 321. Oh, how beautiful is that airplane? I haven't wanted to be back in the Airbus cockpit so bad than I do right now, especially after an NDB Circle in a 727. Looks like the doors are shut there. We're going to have to go ahead and change that situation. Open, 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 open. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and get this thing fired up, ready to go here. I'm just making sure some of my controls are set. And yes, we do have Sim Toolkit Pro overlay is on. So we are ready to hop in the pit. Guys, this is the version 1.03 beta for the 321 coming out. There's been some bug fixes, some tweaks with the flight management computations and things like that. So I'm excited to show you what's new. Speaking of, before we get going, let me pull up the changelog so I have it here to reference for our flight up there. We are also going to be using what does not come with the airplane, but is the FT-Sim F-Mod sound pack for this airplane. So by now you've all heard, if you have the 321, the sounds are the same. I think they reworked some of maybe some of the audio levels, but let's see, changelog, there it is. All right, at least I got that open. Close U. And now we are ready to go. So let's hop into the cockpit here. We are running the FT-Sim sound pack. I think this one is pretty good. It is by no means BSS quality, but it is still pretty decent. So 28 volts here. Let's go ahead and get these battery switches on. We'll go ahead and turn on external power. Nav and logo light. Ground control push button on. I'm going to go ahead and get the ADIRs in their alignment phase already. Now, one thing about this FT-Sim sound pack is the fans will work pretty cool. Like the Econ Flow will reduce the sound of airflow in the cabin. When you adjust these, it will adjust some fan noise or ambient fan noise, even though that doesn't really happen in real life. But just little added little touches. For the FT-Sim sound pack, did a pretty darn good job on it. So we've got powering up to the airplane. Let's get our non-CRT screens on here. Old Captain Joe from 1969, been flying Airbuses since they were CRT, still dimming the screens even though he doesn't need to anymore. Ooh, ATC audio. Just a little chatter there that'll probably get annoying. I'll have to turn it off, but that's part of the FT-Sim sound pack. All right, we got our screens on. ADIRs are in a line, 7 minutes to go. How are we looking back here? Did I steal Captain Joe's aircraft? Yes. In memory of Captain Joe, I figured since I watched his video probably a dozen times, I thought, hey, my last flight into Madeira, we should do it in respects to Air Berlin and Captain Joe's fantastic approach that they flew in there. Awesome stuff. If you guys haven't seen that video, you got to check it out. It's top quality stuff. So, all right. Enough chit-chat. Let's get the box loaded up. Let me get my screens available for you so you can see them. We're also doing LPMA, refresh of the weather, 1018, 1018. Why are we listening to tower, though? Can I switch to ground? I think I can. I think if I go to channel 119er, let's see if this goes to ground chatter. If not, I'm going to turn it off because that's annoying. All right. Load up our box here. Got our updated air rack. We are departing GCLA to LPMA for the final time. It's going to be sad to leave these islands. It really is going to be sad. I had a heck of a lot of fun. We are Air Berlin, which is AB. Simple enough. Air Berlin flight 114. Confirm the alignment for me. We're going to do cost index of, we'll do 55. Cruise flight level is going to be 250. Alright, here we go. Departure, plan mode, constraints on. We're going to depart off runway 36 on the BIM 6T. Go back and insert that. That goes all the way out to Bimbo. Don't want to marry a bimbo. And the infamous VOR 5 Alpha. On the Bimba 4 Alpha arrival. A beam fun 1 insertion. And then we'll build the fixes, of course, when we get a little bit closer. For the circle, there we go. Everything else looks like it is in the box. Now, one thing that I did keep in that I want to keep in mind is I'm going to make fun. We'll talk about that in cruise, about getting a vertical planning down a little bit better. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and get our secondary in the box here. We can turn you off. GCLA to GCLA. All right. Can we get a flight to or from the Bahamas in the next stream? Maybe, man. Well, not in the next stream. We're finishing up the Euro tour. I do have a community post out there for all you guys to see, kind of the reference of what we're going to be doing. Gosh, I don't want to do the NDB back again. We'll just do no. We're not coming back. How's that sound? Secondary that's good enough for this flight. Radio navigation. We got to tune something out of here, don't we? Departures. Madat. I don't see the one that we're on. Huh, interesting. I don't see our departure. The Ortis. No, we're not doing Ortis. Oh, this is the wrong charts. Wrong airport. That's why. GCLA. There we go. Always helps to have the right airport. So, yeah, we do want to hard tune. We can hard tune the DME BV. So weird seeing that. Just a straight DME station, 112.4 hard tune, just in case we need it. That looks good. We probably won't do the whole departure procedure all the way out there. That looks good on the RadNav page. NDB, let's load up the airplane. Miguel, I do not know when the beta will be released. As in, like, the next version of the 321. I just know that this is the, it's in private beta stage, so hopefully not too much longer. But I do not have any information on when it will be released. They want to make sure it's all good to go and no bugs are out of it, so. All right. I want to look for loadout here. We're going to take 216 people, forward cargo, that looks good. Apply those load values. Block fuel 6.0, that should be plenty. So we'll do a quick, make sure that is on board. What does that give us? 71.4. I love having these flip-flopped in the right direction. 71.4 and 24.4. I'm so happy they flipped these values around here instead of having the CG on the left. Block fuel 6.0, that may not be enough. That seems a little bit light. 22 minutes extra gas. Ooh, that's not a lot, but we'll take it. 22. So perf data is set and NDB has been set, right? So let's do our speeds. Flaps 1 plus F. Toga out of here. 0.8 on the trim. 153. 155 and 160. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. Flaps to 1. Flaps 1 to... Actually, you know what? Let's do flaps 2. I want to change you. Flaps 2, a yoga. So we're going to do 147. Yeah, that's better. 147, 147, 152. I'll buy it. I'll buy those speeds. I love having that use Toga thrust option now on the ISCS. So 47, 47, 52. Flaps 2 is set. No flex. ground services. Let's go ahead and start closing up some doors. That looks good to me. Those are closing. Let's go ahead and fire up the APU. Prime it up, get our fuel pumps on here. Arm those. And wait for our flap open. Still got 2 minutes on the IRS. Fire it off. We'll listen to the FT-Sim APU sound. Dougal says, I feel more comfortable in this baby. You and me both, Dougal. You and me both, my friend. Javez says, hey, V1, thanks for all your great Europe tour streams. I'm loving it. Thank you, man. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. We can't possibly hit every single spot in Europe that I want to see. But I think we've done a pretty darn good job so far of all the airports. Hats off to you guys for putting the suggestions in the Discord. I got a lot of my flight suggestions from you guys in the Discord. Dimitri helped out tremendously with the whole Greece tour. So thank you guys again. And whoever commented on that last video to tell me to come down here to La Palma, hats off to you, dude. That was... Congratulations, because that was no joke, no questions asked. The hardest approach I've flown on stream in the simulator. Might have been one of the hardest approaches I've done, you know, full-blown NDB approach to minimums in a 727, dude. There is no assistance with that at all. So hats off to you. That was a blast. We'll go ahead and close this door up. I think that will trigger the announcements. Let's take a look. Let's see if that'll trigger the FT-Sim announcements there. Oh, wait, I think I have to put this into on. APU bleed, turn that off. At some point, there are announcements, but it doesn't seem to be true. Oh, there we go.
Before we take the safe demonstration and equipment for this aircraft,
Look at that wing. Gosh, I love it.
All mobile phones and portable electronic devices with the flight safe mode should have this enabled now in preparation for our departure. Any mobile phones that do not have a flight safe mode should remain switched off for the duration of this flight. Any laptops in use, please do switch them off now and secure them in the seat pocket in front of you. And could I ask that all headset and earphones be removed for departure?
All right. So one of the bug fixes that I'll just talk about now is they kind of reworked the colors of the cockpit, such as the screens. And I couldn't tell you why or exactly what was off, but they look much better now, in my opinion. I think the colors are much closer to the real thing. Might still be able to improve the blue here, maybe. I don't know. But as far as, I mean, the ECAMs look really good when I look over at the ECAM. If I can find it. Like, if I look at the ECAM here, this looks real good to me. So we're all closed up. We're buttoned up. Let's get the tug out here.
Ground to copy. Please, show me where you want to go.
Back me up on the 90, right there, where it's probably illegal.
Ground to copy. Tau is driving up.
Look at that shot, though, down the wing. I love this 321 wing. Yemek says, I thought the Flight Factor 320 was amazing. Then I got my hands on the Toliss, and it was money well spent. Absolutely, man. At this point, guys, between the Toliss and the Flight Factor 320, we have three very good airplanes coming at you. Especially the 319, I think, was the one lacking the most. But after this update drops, I really am happy with the 319. I think it's. I think you have three very good Airbuses to choose from.
We also carry children's flotation equipment. In preparation for takeoff, please ensure that your seatbelts are fastened.
Where's my tug driver? There he is.
Hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
All right, connected up, buddy.
May we remind you that we operate a non-
Swappy, yes, need to go. Good night, V1. Watch the stream in the morning. Have a good one, Swappy. Awful quiet back there. We can disconnect the ground power as well. Oh, I guess we need the beacon light on. That would help. We're going up to 240. Let's see the rest of our checks here. 240 set.
Bypass being inserted. Release parking brake.
Oh, we're going up to 250. All right, brakes released. Clear to push.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Right here. All right. Mick Shiggity coming in with a $10 bomb. Thank you so much, man. He says, just a small token of my appreciation. Loving the flight instruction. The best. Keep the blue side up. Mick Shiggity pilot. Dude, thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. Glad to have you on board. Really appreciate that. I'm glad you guys are continuing to enjoy the content. That is what I'm here for. Are they going to add yellow pylons on the wings? Yellow pylons on the wings. What do you mean yellow pylons? We got our flap track fairings here. Yellow pylons? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. But let's go ahead and listen to this FT Sim sound. We're going to start up engine numero uno. If I can go to the right one. There we go. How are my volume settings set? I mean, it's not a BSS engine start, but it's better than default in my opinion. Let me make sure these sounds are... Oh, we can just crank it, son. That might be too loud. You let me know if that's too loud. Oh, the wing hooks?
Operation
I guess.
Set parking brake.
I didn't even know that was missing.
Connecting tow. Stand by.
I don't look at the wings very often, you can tell. Alright, we got a good start on one. Let's go ahead and fire up engine 2. The object in case of emergency landing in water. So you're talking about like the hooks, like the hoist points, the hoist points. I can't even tell you where the hoist points are on the wing, man. But yeah, and you can tie in this. I think you can attach a raft to them too. But yeah, I guess they're not modeled. They're not on the top of the wing.
Tow is disconnected.
John Doe says, "Have I thought about doing unusual situations?"
We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
All right, buddy. Thanks for the smooth push. We'll see you next time. Yeah, I've got a whole slew of check ride videos where we do all kinds of engine failures. I don't like doing it on stream because it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to fail the engine now, and here we go. But I do fly with random failures on, and a lot of times we work through some pretty weird situations, which is what I really like about the Toliss. I do have random failures off, though, for this flight. Flap sounds still need work. Flap sounds still need work. Not gonna lie. Yeah, the flap sounds are quite terrible. Alright, but we got 2 good starts, and AP can come offline here. Alright, I think we're ready to go. 250. We're going to do a back taxi, so let's just do everything right here, right now. Flight controls, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Alright, so I'm trying something weird. I've got my tiller bound to my honeycomb yoke. So we're going to see if this helps with any ground handling. Brakes released, taxi light on. Let's get it on. We should probably turn the lights on too, since we are taking an active runway for a taxi back. We do got to get out of here. What's our ETA? 1 hour and 2 minutes. I wanted to be out of here about 8 minutes ago. I don't want to do this approach in the dark again if I can help it. Carter says, yeah, they're not great, but better than what they were. Not much like a truck starting over and over. Yeah, definitely. They were terrible before. They're better now. Martin says, one quick question before takeoff. How do you start RTO? Is it just by reverse thrust, or are there more actions? There are a couple different figures. There's a couple list of precautions that have to happen for an RTO. But yes, if you bring the thrust levers to idle and you're over a certain speed, wheel speed, and you activate your reversers, you will trigger an RTO. Speaking of auto brakes max, takeoff config. That goes into auto, that goes normal, transponder TARA, cabin check, for takeoff checklist complete. It's so weird, I want to use my rudder pedals now, but I have to use my yoke. I'm driving like a car with the tiller. This is weird. This is so weird. But it's kind of fun. You don't have to use your rudder pedals. Let's do a hard 90 here. Swing, baby, swing. Not bad. A little overshot there. So weird driving with the yoke on the ground. Alright, that cracks me up. Let's set up our screens. Alright, everything is set constraint mode up to 250. Cabin is ready. Let's do it. Nose forward on the stick. Spool them up 50%. Let's do it. Yoga! Man Toga SRS auto thrust is blue. Here comes 80 knots, thrust set. Initial by 100. A short runway. V1, rotate. Positive rate, you're up. Not bad on the flyby sounds. Not bad. Let's see if we can fly the departure from the wing view here. Alright, let's go back to climb. Thrust climb, auto thrust. A little bit early there on that auto thrust selection. Should have held it in MCT just for a second to get that airspeed moving in the right direction. We're above F speed, we'll go flaps 1. A little vapor. Not bad, not bad. Alright. We're in it. Let's fly the airplane out of here. We'll start the chrono too. We're late on that. We'll go autopilot 1. And let's go ahead and get us direct to Bimbo. We're direct Bimbo 5 climbing 250. You need to mount the honeycomb yoke at a 90-degree... Romulus, that's actually a great idea, dude. That's a great idea. If I have my honeycomb yoke at a 90-degree angle, then we can fly, or then I can try, you know, use the tiller. Let's go ahead and turn the sounds down a little bit. I'd be able to use that tiller. That's funny. Alright, 5. There's S-speed. That looks like we have an auto retraction. I didn't do that. That's an auto retract there on the flaps. So let's make sure the slats stay extended as they should. Yes, they are. So now we can go flaps 0. And the slats will come in there. So we had a nice little auto retract there at about 205 knots. Or 210 knots, I guess. As it should. As it should. Everything is looking good. Man, it feels so much easier to be in an Airbus than that 7.2. Let's do a flyby shot here. Captain Tom, gotta head out. Don't botch the landing, comrade. Captain Tom, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. I will try not to, man. I will try not to. Brian K says, I watched some of the video landing in Madeira, and you were right. Some of those guys just slam it down. Yeah, it is. It was impressive, man. Those guys, sometimes they're just like, hey, we're putting it down. I saw them putting it down at the 500-footer. Saying, nope, we are getting down. Can you turn down the volume of the engines? It's not like a 318. Yeah, Tim, I turned it down a little bit. How's it now? Hopefully it's a little bit better. I can turn them down again. What I'll do is let's do that. I tweak it down. I'll put about there. I got to get that volume adjusting tool that just pops up there so you don't have to pull open your X-plane menu. Here comes 10,000 feet. We'll go ahead and turn the lights off. Wing light come off. Ding the flight attendants. And let's always get the seatbelt sign-offs and then start the service. It was a smooth ride coming in. We know that because we just flew in here. Our arrival time, 1931Z. Ooh, we're a little bit late. It might be getting close to dark again. We'll give it our best shot, though. Now that's a cool picture right there. The reflection through the clouds of the island. Wow. How come you took off CFM? Because Air Berlin doesn't have any IEs that I could find, right? I don't think Air Berlin had the IE engines on the 321. Maybe they did. I don't know. I couldn't find any. And this paint that I really like. Thank you for the subscribe there. This paint job was Iberia was CFM. Just remember, you can flare this one V1. Yeah, I know. We can flare this one. Are the sounds different, or is it different engines? Salem High School volleyball. This is the FT Sim sound pack. So the sounds from the Toliss are going to be about the same. The default sounds. This is a sound mod from FT Sim F-mod sounds for the 321. I just think it adds a little bit more immersion on the Airbus. Still waiting for the BSS to come out and have a pack done for the 321. Santi says, "Who needs Microsoft 2020?" I'm telling you, man. Some of these sceneries we have, it makes you wonder. You know, why make the switch? But the successor has the IAE engines. Nikkei Airlines. I haven't heard of that. I have to look into it. But I wanted to fly Old Classic. I know Air Berlin flew in there with the CFM. Captain Joe. Have a nice Air Berlin there on the engines too. I really like this paint job. I like how it has Air Berlin on the fuselage too. If you look underneath here as it goes, so I go underneath it. Yeah, Air Berlin on the belly, really nice. Lot of air. All right. Yep, we're on the 321. Yeah, it is good. I mean, it sounds pretty good. It's better than the default, I would say, definitely. Kind of weird shadow glitch happening there, it looks like. Curtis says all that really needs to be added now is a better weather system. Clouds, and it would still be up there giving Microsoft 2020 a run for its money. Yeah, if, you know, having all these separate plugins is what I think is going to drive a lot of people away to Microsoft 2020, because everything is going to be pretty much out of the box, ready to go. At least that's what we've been told, right? So we'll have to find out. Well, only one way to find out is wait and see. Is the N1 engine limit on the ground of 40% still applicable when single engine taxiing? Yes, Flying Guitar Sam. 40% N1, and that can be difficult. Sometimes you have to start them up both. I think Philly used to be notorious for having really soft taxiways in between the runways there. I can't remember the taxiway name, but when you're holding short of 27 right, or no, holding short of 27 left, and you're kind of in between, I've gotten stuck there a couple times. Now, I think they fixed it. I think they fixed the pavement. But sometimes, I mean, I've seen guys that, you know, you got to start up an engine just to go. There was an MD-80 that got stuck there, and somebody, well, we were behind him, and tower or ground told him to move, and he said he couldn't. You know, your concrete's so soft, I got to start another engine here. So he couldn't get moving. You had to fire up 2 engines. But yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen once you start going over 40% N1 on one engine. It can get a little sketchy there with some stuff. So most of the time, we really try to keep it under 40. I mean, if you go to 45 or 50, are you going to do any damage? Probably not, but it is a limitation, and the airplane will tell on you. From the ground, the Air Berlin is like the Spirit bright yellow livery. You can't miss it. That's kind of a good one. It's nice bright red. It is very distinctive. Very distinctive.
Subscriber.
Thank you for the subscribe there, man. I appreciate it. The leading line going to the tail cone section? Yeah. I have flown the route from Roswell to Albuquerque. It looks exactly like what I was seeing in real life. Yep. If you have the proper scenery, man, it looks really darn good. Demetri says until Microsoft starts charging monthly fees to use all that Azobo Azure goodness. Yeah. We'll see, man. I agree. I think, Tony Docs, I think you're right. There might be a catch. I don't know. We'll find out, though, soon enough, I'm sure. All right, so to better plan my descent this time, I'm going to make FUN a mandatory altitude here of 3,000. That will kind of fix for my planning purposes there. So then we're going to start down around Bimbo. We don't want to descend, be too low like last time, burn all our gas. All right, while we're climbing up, though, seatbelt sign is off, no spring sign is off. Let's go ahead and we'll find a nice quiet wing view here. Let's go over some of the change log while we're climbing out here, because we don't have a whole lot of time. But all right, so some minor new features for the 321. Oops, I lost my chat box. There we go. Some minor new features for the 321. Added tail strike warning indications on PFD during landing. So if you get into bad situation, you'll have tail strike warnings on the PFD. The PLA drops down. Pretty good stuff. Rework of the PFD colors and landing system symbology, so similar to the 319. And kind of what I was saying is the cockpit, the texture, the glass and the colors in the cockpit look better than before. I don't know exactly what they reworked, but I can tell that they reworked something. They added the warning if experimental flight model is on to ensure you switch it off and get the right performance. So that's kind of good to have in case you are flying an airplane that requires you to have the experimental flight model on, and then let's say you swap into the Toliss and then you don't remember to shut it off and you kind of wonder, why is my Toliss flying weird? That would be a reason right there. So that's cool to have that warning. Adapted aircraft allows sounds and ground vehicles when using X-Plane 11.5 Vulcan, including frame rate improvements. So, it will have sounds and ground vehicles when using a Vulcan, according to the changelog. I am not running Vulcan, so I can't test that for you, but that's what it says there in the changelog. Pause at top of descent, stops a minute before reaching TOD. Talked about that on the 319 stream. That's good. That way, if you use that function, you don't end up being behind the 8-ball when you unpause the sim. You have some time to sit to lower MCP altitude and get the airplane down. Smoother flight director and autopilot behavior in managed descent. So they smoothed out the autopilot and flight director, which was definitely needed. Some bug fixes. Improved engine EPR indications to have realistic values for the IAE engines. I can verify that they do work a lot better now. Looks good. Improved N2 windmilling value to avoid that a failed engine still produces hydraulic pressure when too slow for that. So that's kind of the level of detail we're talking about here. They're adjusting systems where if your engine is failed and you don't have enough power or enough windmilling speed, that the hydraulics are going to represent what it should, the output, which is fantastic. Giuliani, thank you so much for the $2 donation, man. I appreciate it. It says the third time's the charm. Here's a little something for your third landing attempt on Madeira. Grease that runway, Captain. Giuliani, thank you so much. Appreciate your support on the channel. I'm going to do my absolute best. I'm looking for no mistakes on this one. We're going to roll out on time. We're going to be on speed, on altitude. I think we're going to nail it. I really do. May not get the butter, but I want to be on, I just want to have I just want it to be textbook real world landing. Of course, I'm going to try for the butter, but I also have the frozen butter emoji in chat now, so if we don't have the butter, we can also use the frozen butter emoji. But thank you. Appreciate your support. And also I want to show you something else about the system modeling here on the Toliss, if I don't forget. Well, let's go ahead and read through some of these other bug fixes. Attitude bug indication on PFD now changes correctly between flight level and feet indication. Risk of overspeed during managed descent with a high cost index has been reduced. So a lot of times I tell you guys, I don't descend at cost index 99 because sometimes you could overspeed, you get a gust of wind or something like that. In real life, it was less common than in the sim, but now you can, even in the sim, if you do a cost index 99 descent, it will reduce the risk of overspeeding. It can still happen, especially depending on the aero or the outside conditions, but it's been reduced, which I think is important. Fixed a potential crash to desktop when entering airways. Luckily, I haven't experienced that, but apparently they fixed a crash to desktop situation when entering airways in the McDo. They fixed a couple bugs with custom scenery airport information. I'm not quite sure what that refers to. And they also, I think this was on the 319 changelog as well, where it says the speed constraints are now ignored in the approach phase, as per discussion with real-life A320 pilots. So I've talked about this on the podcast that I did, I think, and perhaps in the 319 stream. But if you activate and confirm your approach phase and you're in managed speed, it will not obey the speed constraints on the arrival, and that is accurate to real life, so they've got that fixed. They fixed an issue with loss of approach type after inserting the secondary flight plan. Interesting. And they also fixed an issue with arrival procedures after inserting a secondary flight plan with a different airport. So let's say you load up a different airport in your secondary, maybe you're doing a divert. Now you'll be able to have the proper arrival procedures when you do that. So Captain Gio already got the frozen butter going on there. Excellent. But that's a little bit about the 321 changelog. Now, that is all subject to change, of course, right? This is all, it's still under beta testing. And once it is official, you'll have your official changelog. But that's what I could share with you. One thing I did want to show you here, let's go ahead and pull this up here. Let's pull up the condition page. Oops, wrong one, bleed page. We're going to pop that up. Now, the econ flow in the A321 basically reduces the outflow of the air conditioning system to save fuel, right? Less demand, less wear on the bleed system, we can save more fuel. Typically, you're only going to use that depending on your operator. It'll depend on who you work for at a certain passenger level. You know, below 160 people use econ flow, or below 130, whatever it is. Check this out. If I press the econ flow push button, you see how the outflow changed here? Now, it wouldn't necessarily snap back and forth, but it does do something. So turning the econ flow on does reduce the output, which is good to see. Now, I'd like to see a nice smooth transition of that valve, of that output. It's not really the valve. The valve isn't moving, but this needle here, this green needle. So I think that's kind of cool. We're going to leave the econ flow off. Now, I believe with FTSim, if you turn some of this off, it does make it quieter. Like if I turn econ flow on, it does make the air sound go down a little bit, which is kind of a nice addition. Alright, what do we got for air conditioning since we're up there? How are we looking? And we'll warm it up a tad there in the back. Almost 25C across the board, though, looks good to me. Let's do a flyby shot. Not bad, not bad. Frozen butter concrete block. Am I using Vulcan? No, I'm not using Vulcan in this stream. Cheers from Brazil. Good to have you on board, man. No, we're not using Vulcan. We're still on the 11.4 beta. George FS Videos, is this update to work fully with Vulcan? I don't know if it's a fully compatible Vulcan update. I do know, according to the changelog, it says they fixed the sound issue. So, from what I heard from other streamers was that in 11.5, the sound didn't work with the 321, and with a lot of different airplanes. So, I'm not saying this makes it fully Vulcan compatible, but that's what's in the changelog. Of course, it's subject to change. What is a PTU? PTU is a power transfer unit. What it does is it allows you to pressurize the offside hydraulic system with onside hydraulic fluid without transferring any of the fluid. So I can take my yellow system, pressurize my green system without transferring fluid. A very nifty tool. Is Econ Flow an improved version of Pack Flow Low? Yes. Good question. Yeah, that's good correlation. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah, Pack Flow Low, Norm, and High, and Econ Flow. Yeah. Exactly. What's a commercial button do? That will shed the commercial electronics to the galley. I can't remember. I don't know if all of our aircraft have that or not, but it will be used for reducing electrical load on some systems. So let's see here, dispatched with one generator. I think I did a stream like that a while back where we had one in-op generator and we had to do the generator test to make sure it picks up the load. You systematically shut down systems to make sure that the loading is proper. Does the Toliss 319 update include a secondary flight plan? Yes, it does. Right, the update will pretty much bring the 319 up to the current standard of the 321 and then a little bit further. I think they're pretty much almost identical now between the 321 and 319. They hand fly great, and the FMGC works great in both of them. Definitely a much needed update for the 319. Are V-speeds close to the real one? I do think they're better. I don't know if they've worked on the V-speed calculator before. It was always, you pretty much had 160 no matter what you did, right? But now, oh, you can't do it anymore here. But when being able to force the Toga takeoff and stuff, I really like it. Now, one thing that the Toliss ICS calculator will do is it's calculating stopping distance too. So I'm not saying it's inaccurate, but it is. I'm more happy with it now, especially the 319 speeds. I've done more flights in the 319 with this beta in 1.4. I think I've done maybe 4 or 5 flights in the 319. This is my third flight in the 321 on this beta, but the speeds do seem to be pretty representative of the real thing. All right, we should start planning our descent and approach here. Tango Delta says, hello, Captain. In the real 321, what altitude call do you initiate the flare? Right about 30 feet, man. At 30 feet, that THS starts to move, and you're probably beginning to arrest the descent at 30 feet. In the sim, honestly, you could probably take it down to 10 feet. All right, let's go ahead and pull up our charts. We don't need GCLA anymore. Let's get this set up for the last time. LPMA. Beautiful. Airport. 10.9 page. And then we want arrival. We're not worried about the arrival. We know what we're doing on the arrival. Approach. VOR circle visual to 5. Here we go. Funchal 211. Enter destination data. I'm doing it. We also want to check the weather too. So let's refresh the weather. And I'm going to set 3,000 feet here. Did we ever reach 250? Yeah, we did. LPMA. 22 miles to top of descent, so we're looking good. All right. Approach information. 1018 on the QNH. Temperature 20 degrees. Nice and warm down there. Magnetic wind 040 at 4. MDA, we're going to set 1,000 feet for us just as a reference. It's a visual approach only. Scattered at 1,500, scattered at 3,000. Ooh boy. We're going to see how we can do this. All right, so we've got our approach information set. Christopher W., thank you so much for the 7 B. Oh gosh, oh, don't tell me what that Brazilian. I know. Donation. Hey, thank you so much, man, for the donation. I appreciate it. He says, "Here's a glass of bourbon on me. Cheers, Christopher." Well, if you could see me right now, man, I've got my bourbon right here. Cheers to you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Glad you're enjoying the content. I'm definitely gonna take you up on that glass of bourbon when I finish this one here. But yes, Brazilian real? It's a Brazilian real, right? I hope I'm saying that right. I think it's Brazilian real. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. And thank you for the subscribe there, too. Okay, so we got our information set up in the box. Top of descent is fast approaching. Let's go ahead and mash that forward 3,000 feet. Down we go. One thing I've noticed, too, and I complained about this in one of my Greece streams when we got in the Toliss. I felt that the mouse was very laggy. What was that? What is that noise? I have no idea what that noise was. Never heard that noise in a Boeing or in an Airbus. I hear it in a Boeing. Okay. Weird. But the mouse does not seem to be as laggy, so I do like that. And let's go ahead and program the rest of this here. So we know we're going to do the 13.1B here. FUN. Pull this up so we can look at it. MD211. So what I want to put in there is I want to leave my missed approach point in there, and after that we're going to put in the turn, right? So Fox Uniform November 211 radial at 6 DME. That's a point bearing distance waypoint. Insert that. We could see it there on the flight plan page. That looks good. After that, we're going to have a reference fix of Jello, J-E-L-O, insert, insert. From there, Rosario, R-O-S-R-O, insert. I want the 175 miles away. Beautiful. Now we need to start doing our altitudes. For Rosario, minimum 460. Return, and then for Jello, a vertical revision on Jello. Stop moving around on me. 850. You can see that brings the radius turn back down. Perfect. I don't want to be going any faster than 150 knots over Jello as a reference bug there. So we've got our reference. Perfect. What else we need to tune in here? We need to hard tune. Well, first we need to clear out. We never clear and copy our VOR. So now I want to hard tune FUN 211 set. I think I can just do this here. Nope. FUN 211 is hard tuned on both sides. That's final approach course. Last thing we're going to do on the setup here, fix info page, FUN. Use all the tools that we can. 211 radial with a 6 DME radius. We've got that drawn out. So now we have all the tools available to us drawn out on our ND. And that looks pretty good to me. So we're going to do our procedure turn, come back around, and then we're going to be pretty much hand flying at that point. I do have our VOR course 211 tuned in there. VOR needles are up, so we've got DME. We are set, ready to go. Sounds like a descent. Slam Cannon says I had that sound happen to me in the new 321 Simpack. All right, so it's not just me. That's good. Hopefully we will see a Madeira Innsbruck flight on the 321. Maybe, Mr. Dillon? Maybe, man. We're definitely going to hit low way back before we go all the way back. John Doe, thank you. Welcome to Commercial Pilot Man, John Doe. Exclamation point, welcome for your new perks here on the channel. Positive rates in chat for you. Thank you. Thank you for joining, man. Appreciate it. All right, so 1018 is the Barrow. We know that, right? I think that was already set. Did I ever set standard in the cockpit? Yeah. But I never changed the transition altitude here, but that's fine. We'll just set it early. 1018 is set. Auto brakes, medium, according to Captain Joe. That's how they did it. We're going to do the same thing. And we are just pretty much ready. We are ready now. We're going to crush this, guys. I have no doubt we're going to crush this approach. Oh, he did some autopilot warning sounds. Interesting. I don't know what sounds he was doing, but I have never in my life heard that sound in an Airbus. Mr. Jungles, Mrs. Jungles. Third time's the charm, V1. Looking forward to this landing. Me too. Me too, Mrs. Jungles. Whoa, my phone is going off over here. That is a thing of beauty, though, coming down. We're going to be, what's our, I think we're 1930 Z. Like getting a little bit darker than normal. Gosh, I just don't know which way I want to park it. I do like seeing the... And we'll sit there for a minute. The welcome command hasn't been working over a few streams now. Uh-oh. Let me see if I take a look at that. Yeah, I can see why, because it doesn't exist. I can see why. Mastro Cross, thank you so much, man. $25 bomb. He says, let's make a buttery butter. This is your time. Maestro Cross, man, thank you so much. Really appreciate your support on the channel. Thank you very much, man. Third time is the charm. I feel prepared. Airplane is set up. We are ready to go. Thank you for the support on the channel, man. So the welcome command hasn't been working, huh? Ah. Ahaha. I see why. Let me fix that. Alright, it should be fixed. Exclamation point welcome should work now if you guys are new to the channel. Trying to figure out your new perks and things like that. Love that water down there, though. Alright, how are we looking? We are 37 miles out from the VOR, going through 11.7. Speed is decreasing, so we're going to go ahead and manually select 250 knots. 250 on the speed selected. Get our lights out there. I do love that red. That is a very bright red. Tony Doc says, I tried telling you the past few streams. Message just kept getting lost. Sorry about that, Tony Docs. But yeah, it should be fixed now. I just have that so I don't have to continuously repeat myself. But yeah, if you're a member of the channel, you get access to the podcast. You get access to the V1 After Dark section in the Discord. Check top of descent. We are on the descent, man. Do I know when Microsoft 2020 is coming out? No, I do not know that. I thought it was, I would imagine it would be this calendar year, maybe towards fall, but that's just me speculating. I don't have any information to back that up. So I remember this first time I did this approach in here, we got way too low on our first turn in there. So I'm going to really try to watch the altitude and hit those altitudes as we come around the corner. Looks like we're 250. Still descending. There's 10,000. Scenery reload there. That's nice. Did I turn the seatbelt sign? That can come back on. It also reminds me of Virgin America. Yes! Man, I miss them. I definitely miss Virgin America. That was one fun airline. I had a buddy, well, I mean, he flies for Alaska now, but I had a buddy who flew for Virgin. But they got bought by Alaska. Carter says the LES is updating, or LES leading edge simulations updating the DC-3 soon. I wasn't aware that they had. Were they the developer for the DC-3? Interesting. I tell you what, I am stoked for that A300 though. The A300 from I&I Simulations or I&I Builds. It looks good. I keep looking at their pre-release streams, or not streams, sorry, their pre-release screenshots and the information. It looks fantastic. I hope this cloud layer doesn't get too low here. Let's review that chart one more time. So we've got our missed approach point at 3.6. From there, we're going to be hand flying. This is a minimum of 940. We don't have to necessarily be at 1,000. I think if we hold about 1,500, it might even be better. Start the turret at 6. Minimum is 850 here. Minimum 460 over Rosrow. Should be pretty good. What's current wind? 040 at 4. So not bad. Definitely a hell of a lot better than a 20 knot crosswind that we had last time. Carter says, yeah, they are coming out with the V2. Ooh. So, all right, I have to look into that, man. I will look into that one. Q400 cannot come up quickly enough. Agree, Santi. And the MD-11. Yeah, the MD-11 too, definitely. Ooh, announcements.
Please return your seatbelts to tray tables to their full upright lock positions. Make sure all carry-on items are properly stowed in the overhead bin. All your seats in front of you. All meat, dairy, and other food products must be declared and cleared by customs officials if this is your final destination.
MD-11, will it ever happen? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Alright. 6.3, descending 3,000. Did I activate and confirm? I did not. Activated and confirmed. Sent checklist. Alright, seatbelt sign is on. Minimums, we got 1,000 set. Auto brakes, medium. Altimeters, 1018 set 1, 2, and 3 times. Approach checklist is complete. That's all she wrote. We're 5.8, descending 3,000. Getting ready for a course reversal out of here. Flyby time. That is cool with the sunlight there. Flying Guitarist says A300 is what I'm most hyped for. And look forward to seeing you fly it, hopefully. Oh, you'll see me flying it. I guarantee it. Guarantee you, man. Yosh says, very interesting stream. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I still feel like I'm recovering from that 727 NDB. I am still recovering from that NDB approach that we did in La Palma. You know that feeling when you just, I don't know, maybe you have a really good workout and you can relax after, you take a shower, you're just chilling, kind of feel like jello. That's how I feel right now, so hopefully I don't slack off on this approach, but that was, I'm going to look up, unless you're in the chat right now, let me know, but whoever commented on that on the last stream to go down to La Palma, hats off to you, my friend. What a fantastic idea that was. Dominic says, just checked out the INI 300 and it looks and sounds good. I know, man. It looks fantastic. It really does. Okay, we want to slow down here. We don't want to become blazing in here. Well, we could do 250 here at the turn, and then we got to slow down. Do I think the FS Labs 320 is study level? Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't get much more study level than that. Does not get, you know, it's... Ooh, oh, look at that shot. I almost, what I was saying there is I almost was tempted to get P3D up and running and do some FS Labs 320 just to see, you know. I was been tinkering with the idea. Oh my gosh, that looks good though. Alright, there's level 3000. Thrust is coming up. I don't want it to. We're going to come back to 190. Bring it back to 190. Alright, so one thing that I also did is I bound my side stick takeover push button, so you're not going to see me disengage this. I also bound my flight director push button and the auto thrust instinctive disconnect switches. So when I get in there, we're going to disconnect everything and hand fly it down. You're not going to see me disconnecting that stuff, but that's because I have it bound. Very important that you get those flight directors off as you do this approach. Christopher says, I never saw a good L1011 on sim. Would be awesome. Somebody made one for FSX that I flew a lot. I think it was the Captain Sim L1011. It was pretty good. Back in the day, anyway. All right, there's VFE next minus 10. Flaps 2. That is a beautiful shot. Too bad the sounds are kind of... I love the double slotted flap there on the 321, though. Beautiful. I'm having a hard time with my views today. I apologize, guys. That's the one I wanted. Looking forward to the Just Flight BAE 146. That's a unique airplane. I used to see those all the time in Atlantic City when I was doing charter stuff. A lot of Avros. Did I hear American is parking all the A330s? Yes. And on the -200s until 2022? Yep. One of those will actually come out back in 2022. I don't know, man. I hope. We'll see. But it's unbelievable. How different is something like the 1920-21 to something like an A300 or 350 in terms of flight sim? Will it be like learning? Yes, definitely. The A300, the best way I can describe an A300 is pretty much like a 767 cockpit and systems logic with an Airbus McDo or FMC. All right, so we'll let her come around the turd here. 7 miles until we turn. What's our outside air temp? We are plus 18. No need for engine anti-ice. We're looking good. But yeah, the A300 and A350, the A350 is it's similar-ish, I think, in terms of the way it works with like a 321. Like it's a very similar logic, just if anything more advanced, and the cockpit layout, of course, is different. You got more glass on the 350. It's a more capable airplane, especially in terms of VNAV profiling and being able to see a VNAV profile. But Airbus has done a really good job in maintaining a very similar system setup across their fleet. Makes it easier to train pilots, makes it easier to transition from aircraft to aircraft. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave Mr. FO here on VOR nav the whole way in, so I'll be checking, cross-referencing his screen there, the 211 inbound. Just waiting for the procedure turn inbound now. Hello V1, please, what night lighting you use? Lights look amazing. I have the TK light mod, extended night lighting, but it doesn't work with anything ortho, and there's ortho on this airport. So what you're seeing here is pretty much default lights. Now I do have my missile or my objects up to maximum, so that helps with night lighting. Do you think I should wait for Microsoft 2020 or purchase X-Plane 11 on Steam? Oh, dude, that's a tough one. If you wait for Microsoft 2020, you may miss out on a lot of flying, man. You might miss out on a lot of flying. But I understand, especially if you have limited space, it's going to be tough to run. I'm probably not going to have space to run both sims at the capacity that I want to run them. We're flying to Madeira. Yes, smooth flying. This is our third and final stop in Madeira for this Canary Island tour, essentially. We've gone up and down the west coast of Africa. The continent of Africa, anyway. I was planning on going to Tenerife, and then somebody suggested La Palma, and I couldn't pass up that opportunity. Looks like we're in the procedure turn there. We should have terrain on ND as well. Gosh, the reflections on this 321 wing, though, I know Toliss has lacked some texturing department areas, but that 321 reflection just looks so good. That wing, the wing on the 321 looks very good.
Donation.
Q8 pilot. Wow, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. He's just dropped a $50 bomb. Positive rates. Q8 pilot. Thank you so much, man. He says, a token of appreciation for your support and constant encouragement, Captain. Q8, I'm glad to see you back on the YouTube, man. Seeing your notifications pop up was awesome. Thank you so much for your support of this channel. Definitely, I wouldn't be here today probably if you never started your channel and had all your videos out there and how to make X-Plane run properly and make it look good. So the you know, I owe you a thank you, man. Definitely. We need you to hit East Africa. You know, we can't do an Africa tour. Not on this one. We're wrapping up the Euro tour. We got about 3 or 4 legs left. We're trying to wrap it up, and hopefully by the time we return back to the US, we'll be right at 10K. We're getting close to it. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button. It'd be pretty fun to go back to US when we came over on the Euro tour at 7,000 subs. You guys are awesome. All right, so we're 190 knots, 3,000 feet. We're going to cross over the VOR. Now, I'm trying not to jip whiz this. It says at or above 1,500 feet is the minimum. But if we set 2,500, and I'm just going to vertical speed us down 500 feet a minute here. Oh, wait a second. We can't do that. Scratch that. Level off. Push the level off. Vertical speed 0. We got to cross FD 211. We don't want to bust that. That's at or above 3,000. So scratch that. Back to 3. 100-foot climb. See if we can recapture. All right, there we go. Back into altitude capture mode. 3,000. Man, it's a bummer this cloud is in the way because I think it's going to look pretty beautiful out there. Diego says, Q8, you were sorely missed. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Definitely amongst the sim family here, as Dimitri put it. Absolutely. Man, this water... Okay, I gotta focus on the approach, right? No screwing around here. Just looks so good. I guess we didn't really need to go all the way out there for that procedure turn, but it's the last time we're doing this. We might as well do it the full procedure. Fly Guide, these are not default sounds. These are the FT Sim Fmod sound pack. All right, there's the top of, let's do 2,500. Thrust idle open descent. That was the FD 211 fix. Here we go. There's the coast. It's showtime. It is showtime, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're ready. Is the baby in the background your daughter? I apologize. Yes, it is my daughter. Looks like she has arisen from her nap. Oh, this is kind of a cool shot, seeing the lead-on lights from this side of the airport. All right, we're level 2,500 feet. After we cross over Funchal VOR, we are going to go down to 1,500. And we're in a 321. I know going to 180 knots here. 190 can be a little slippery. We're flaps 2. We will configure out of order. Fuel below 3 tons, 2.9 on board. We don't have a lot of time to be messing around with go-arounds. What monitor resolution are you running at? 1080p, man. 1920, 1080. Flying Guitar Sam says, I didn't realize the cockpit window opened on the 320. Problem was I had to Google out how to close them. Yeah, you do. Unless you know how to close the cockpit window of the Airbus, it's pretty cool how they have that modeled. It's modeled really well. All right, here we go. Open descent down to 1,500 feet. We're going to configure flaps 3 out of order. Thrust idle open descent.
2,000.
We didn't get the jip whiz going over the mountain there. That's good. We will probably get a jip whiz on the final turn inbound. It's just this scenery on this airplane. It won't register in the database properly, I guess. We go ahead and arm the cabin. Forward calls, check. Coming on back to 160 knots. We are 1.5. Actually, that's a little slow. Let's do 170. Go Fly Sim says, better at Captain, thanks for visiting Madeira. Next time, I'll go to mainland Portugal. Gonna have to do it, Go Fly Sim. Gonna have to do it. Oh, that's cool. You can really see the scenery there, the pillars holding the runway up. Gotta love it, man. Why exactly 30 minutes? Because, well, technically the FAA requires a 45-minute reserve if it's an IFR aircraft. 30 minutes VFR reserve. It'll be company dependent, Tesla guy. That'll vary depending on your company, the type of operation you're doing. It'll depend on if you're flying international, domestic. All right, we need a hand fly. Track IR activated. Auto thrust coming off. Gear down. Flight director's off. Hand me the bird. Manage speed. Why is my track IR like looking up like crazy? There we go. I'll try not to use it if I can help it there. In the turn, here we go. Looking for 950 over Jello in case we blow this and we got to go around. We'll take it up to 3,000 feet on the mist. Flaps full. Landing checklist. Cabin crew advised auto thrust is off. ECAM memo. Landing all green. I need the first officer to turn his flight director off there. There we go. There's 1,000 feet, looking at minimum 950 over Jello, so we can slowly work that descent up. Don't have to keep going. Man, we were about 20 minutes late coming in here for the perfect lighting. But we'll have to make do. All right, here comes 950. We'll shallow out that descent there for a minute. Just hang on to that until we go over top of Jello. There's our lead-in lights. Thank you for the subscribe there. Jorge, I believe. Looking at the corner of my eye. Appreciate it, man. Alright. I gotta remember I'm using manual thrust here too.
500.
That red pull up light you see left of the ND there, that's the terrain alert. Wouldn't be there in real life. Rolling out over 450 over Rosrow back there, looking good. Just a tad low. There's one white. Shallow it out just a tad. So much better without a 20-knot wind. There's two whites, two reds. We are looking good. Just a nice little 5-knot quartering headwind. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Right on ref.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Recon. 10.
Spoilers! Reverse green. Whoa, look at the runway coming up and bouncing me. What do we get? 240? Manual brakes. We can make this exit right here. Yes, sir, we can do it. That seemed pretty darn textbook to me. Stow the buckets. Oh, I forgot I have my tiller as my yoke. That felt really good. That felt really good on that touchdown. 240 seemed pretty hard for that one. Well, I'll take a look at the replay. But I'll take it. That is a frozen butter if I've ever seen one. Let's clean up the bird here. Get the APU primed up. I want to look at that replay. I think that was our best one. That was a hell of a lot better than our first one. Not counting the landing rates. I don't remember what the other two were. I think this one might have been the hardest one according to the landing rate plugin, but as far as being on it, this one was a hell of a lot better than the first two. So I will take it, spool it up. We're going to park over here next to this 320. Something must be up with my plug-in rate. It might be. Alright, let's make a left turn here. I'll tell you what, that approach though, actually we'll park right next to Air Berlin. That felt easy compared to La Palma and that 7.2. But it is definitely a challenging approach. No doubt about it. I kind of like having this honeycomb yoke as the tiller. It's weird, but it's kind of cool. Let's cheat view our parking job here. Right on the line, though. Set it. Brake set. And APU is available. Yes, it is. Engine 2. Seatbelts. Engine 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the island of Madeira. Ask for your money back on the plug-in. We're going to find out right now. 70 max, Christopher says. It felt pretty good. I was kind of shocked when I saw the number there. But we'll see. Sometimes, you know what I think happens? Don't worry about the spurious warnings. That is a beta issue that they are fixing, and they are aware of it. I think sometimes when you have these sloped runways like that, it'll come up and just nab the wheels. I want to make sure everything stays closed, though. I don't want them opening doors for the replay. I think the beacon is on, right? So we're good. All right, cool. All right, so real view. Let's take a look at this. We must make sure real view is disabled. It is. All right. Put you guys into replay mode. And let's take a look at the juice. All right, perfect. For a second there, I thought my sim crashed. I about had a heart attack. Wow. Well, let's show... Ooh, we can keep the... let's take a look. We'll verify it with the vertical speed. We'll take a look from the cockpit view here. Or how about from up here? That's kind of a cool shot. What an amazing evening, V1. Really nice flight. Good night. Gintara Sauce, thank you so much, man. You have a wonderful night yourself, dude. Thanks for stopping by the stream. You used a gray flipper on the Warthog for the tiller. That's interesting. On the money there.
200, 100, 50, 40, 30, 20.
So vertical speed is hovering at 1 to 0. Wow, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know if I buy that one either. But let's take a look from. How about from right here? Let's watch it from the wing view. if anything, might be 100 in the hundreds. Shoot, I thought that was going to be a little bit smoother. Where did we touch down at? We're in the zone still, right? Yeah, we're definitely still in the zone. So that's good. Be able to make that first taxiway that's what you got to do. Top Gun status. All right, let's look outside. Oh, yes. Got my Airbus flare going for real. Maybe. Maybe, but that touchdown pitch was perfect. Yeah, you know what? It's the runway is upsloping. So we just kind of hit the runway. I think that's what it was. Because the runway is sloping up. It just kind of increased our impact. That looked pretty good to me. Nailed that center line. Nailed it. Guys, wow. What can I say? This whole Tenerife, Madeira, La Palma, this was awesome, guys. I hope you enjoyed these streams as much as I have as we watch that beautiful touchdown. We're going to wrap up this 02. We got to head back to the mainland. I believe we're going to... Oh, I posted it. Malaga? We're going to Malaga next? I don't remember. But I had a lot of fun here. We're going to wrap this one up with a few more replays. We'll watch the turn here. It's been a long one. Thank you for sticking around, hanging out with me tonight. I will chat with you guys on the next stream. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a good rest of your week. See ya!